Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
And the moment of truth has arrived.
If you think you have anything other than a split second in this game right now, you're kidding yourself.
It's all to play for.
Every single bloke has stood up.
They are leaving nothing out there.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
From 55, Sidebottom launches, goal! The Craze Magpies are on top of the AFL world. They win a spellbinding game of footy. Calling what a practice.
This is ABC Sport.
The umpire holds the footy up.
You want your very best players having the ball in the moments that matter.
Take your moment. This is that moment.
Listen to the roar.
The pressure's certainly gone up. Punches the air with the right hand. That's why we love football.
Brilliant to watch. Stand by. The arms are outstretched as he pumps his chest out.
Fill your lungs, are you ready for it?
Wherever you are, do not move.
We're going the full journey.
'Cause here it comes.
This is the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
From outside 50, goes bang with everything he's got.
Former bad boy looking to redeem himself with kicks like that.
Something big is coming.
One step nonchalant banana finish. Wow. Charlie Cameron snaps. Goal.
Something big is coming.
Hey Siri, play John Denver.
AFL.
From deep in the pocket. Oh, that is amazing.
Fill your lungs, are you ready for it?
This guy wants to add home on the biggest stage.
And Gordon can finish from 35. Oh, Errol.
It's there.
Superb finish.
What a hanger.
He joins the party.
Walks through the goal. Oh, what a moment.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
There's nothing this man can't do. Rioli with some magic. The check side finish. He seizes the moment.
Stolen. Snapped it over his shoulder. He's kicked an absolute ripper.
Spins around and buries it.
Lightning speed, Bobby Hill. He's Bobby Thrill.
This is just football at its best.
Weaves around an opponent and gets a brilliant goal.
Gallon snaps. She'll bring the house down.
Time to steady and pull the trigger.
Right foot drop punch is pure. We're not done yet.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season on radio, Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
As we enter the final months of the home and away season, a season like no other and still so much to play, we look to eliminate contenders in the fight for the top 8. It's round 21 of the AFL, Footscray and Melbourne from Docklands on ABC Sport. Yes, that's right, this weekend the Dogs have reverted back to their retro name, the Footscray Football Club, in homage to the club's first premiership back in 1954. Over Melbourne by 51 points, and they're commemorating that 70th anniversary tonight. It's also a double-header, the West Coast Eagles taking on the Gold Coast Suns. The Suns mathematically still in the chase for the top 8, although they would have to win every game from this point onwards. And the West Coast Eagles chasing their 4th win of the season and their first under interim coach Jared Schofield. Hi everyone, Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport. There's no late changes with Daniel Turner and Caleb Daniel, the subs tonight. Is this it for Melbourne? Can they make one large charge to try and get back inside the top 8? They'd have to win 3 of their next 4. And the Western Bulldogs, how have they found form at the right time of the season? It's always a good Friday night to sit alongside Kelly Underwood. Of course, you can catch her on ABC TV, the host of Offsiders, the broadcasting pioneer. Welcome to you, Kel.
Thank you, Clinchy. Great to be sitting alongside you. I think we've all bought matchsticks in tonight to keep our eyes open because what a sensational
How much
week.
have you been watching?
Everything. Absolutely everything. And I'm looking at this Melbourne team out here going, who are they again? Because I've got Olympics swirling around in my head. But the Western Bulldogs, I saw them demolish the Swans last week. So they've beaten 3 teams in the last 3 weeks that have been in the top 3. Carlton, Geelong and the Swans. What do they say? It's timing their perfection like a Melbourne Cup runner like Bart did. So that's exactly what Luke Beveridge is doing at the moment. But yeah, and an emotional night, obviously, for the Footscray Footy Club. And sitting right behind me is one of their legends. He was there for 6 years at Whitten Oval as a coach. So I'll let you introduce him. He'll be happy to say Footscray tonight.
And you can call them Footscray as many times as what he wants. The coaching icon, Mick Moldhouse, is with you for a Friday night. Welcome to you, Mick.
Thank you, Matt. And it's been a long time, Cal, since you've called me a legend. And I can categorically tell you this, I'm not a Footscray legend. I was only there for 6 years, thoroughly enjoyed it, probably coached one of the best players I've ever...
Trying to pump you up.
I know you are. You do it all the time. You embarrass me. And got Lingy here, so I get away with now calling him Footscray. When every time I do that, I've got to sort of revert to the Dogs as opposed to Western Bulldogs, and everyone looks at me, so now I can say Footscray. I had a jacket which I normally wear out, and you guys, I know Benny loves my jacket. It's red and blue, and I thought I can't wear that tonight. It's got no white in it. I've got no allegiance to Melbourne whatsoever, so I can say I am very biased towards the Dogs tonight. I'm looking forward to them winning. I hope they win well, but I'll try to be as even as I can to back up your commentary. Anyway, that's about it. I just hope I just hope the Dogs win.
Okay, we can go home now. Thanks for your thoughts. And
where will they put them on the ladder if they win? That's all I'm interested in.
The Western Bulldogs, it would have them further inside the top 8. So at the moment, they're just inside on percentage.
Yep.
Actually, it's the first time they've been in the top 8 since round 6. So 2.5 months. That win last Sunday put them in the top 8 for the first time since round 6. And remember, of course...
Round 6, that's a long time ago, isn't it?
Luke Beveridge has never finished in the top 4.
No. The premiership come from 6th or 7th, isn't it?
7th.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun. I know we're going to talk to Ling in a minute, but it's funny looking at this game, and I've tried to dissect it a little bit. And how long since how long since Petrarca hasn't been playing? It's got to be a fair few weeks.
5 weeks at a guess.
Oh, at least
6, maybe.
But Lingy, I look at the goal kicking. He still features.
Yep.
I look at the assists. He's leading the assists. Here's a bloke who hasn't played there for that long. Clearances, he's 4th or 5th, and inside 50, he's 4th. And you think, wow, that's a bloke that's been out for probably a quarter of the season or a third of the season, and we've still got him in all the things that make you win games of footy.
Round 14 against the Magpies the last time
so
Christian Petrarca has played. So 6 weeks.
6 or 7 weeks, yeah.
Coming up to 7 this weekend. You mentioned Cameron Ling, the 3-time premiership player, premiership captain and a Geelong legend. Cameron Ling, welcome to you.
Great to be with you, Clinchy and Cal and Mick and Hodgie and everyone out there. It's interesting, isn't it, when you look at the ladder, you were asking where the Bulldogs were, Mick. There's only a game separates these two teams, but in reality, what we've observed over the last couple of weeks, it feels like the Grand Canyon separates these two teams. The Dogs are flying. They've found that forward line magic that we'd all been crying out for a long time. The midfield's backfiring. Defence looks really solid and really well organised. And Melbourne, unfortunately, just look a long way off it. And that promise of what could have been of an era when they won that first premiership since 1964, and it looked like, wow, they just destroyed the Dogs going away from them then. How many are they going to win? Are they going to win 2 out of 4? Are they going to win 3 out of 5? What's this going to be? And then we think, oh, hang on, I don't think they're making the 8 this year on the form that they're showing. So, yeah, on form, a long way between them, but reality is one game between them. If the D's somehow find a way tonight and they're back equal with the Dogs, well, then we start talking about them like they're going to make the finals.
I'm going to throw a question at you. And it's only early days, very early days, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But I am first to admit that when I have a crack at blokes and they start to show something else, I'll be the first to say, well done. I can't remember a transformation in a player that quick from Rory Lobb going from a player that was hounded by supporters, us, everyone, into a player that I don't think the Dogs can win a premiership without.
Do you know,
on the back line?
The only other person I find comparable is in the same back line as him right now, and that's Liam Jones.
Yep.
That transformation.
No one from Geelong that you played with?
Not that
comprehensive?
Big a jump. I mean, when I think of, again, trying to find a comparison, maybe it's because it's a forward who turns to a defender.
Yeah.
Tom Lonigan, but he was also facing the fact that he lost a kidney in a game of football.
That's right.
And had to
how
come back
brave
from
was he?
that. Incredibly brave. Turned himself into just an outstanding defender for the Cats. Awesome record.
All-Australian, I think, right?
I think at least All-Australian 40. He's had a great record on Buddy Franklin. I'm with you on Rory Lobb.
I know the jury's out.
Yeah, I love what he's doing, but give me another month of it. Give me a final series of it to fully
Well, if he doesn't in the
Fully
final
get on
series,
board.
it doesn't matter.
Yep, then I'll put my hand up.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
Leon Davis is the only one that I can think of. All-Australian forward pocket, year later he's an All-Australian back pocket.
Yep.
Different position.
But he was outstanding as a forward pocket.
That's right. Never fell out. Fell out of. Whereas I'm with you. I think the jury's only out because we don't know can it last for a long time. But having said that, if you do that against great quality teams,
Yep.
if they can work him out quick, and I'm talking the Dogs work him out quick, that they can let him be the intercept player, he's going to play as a forward without being hunted on the back line.
Yep.
Sorry, Clinchy, to jump in on there. I just think it's so important that and his life story is also, it's an incredible. We watch the Olympics and just see the hardship some of these people go through. Very few of them have ever had a real up. It's always been some form of adversity that they get on, and it drives them close. I reckon this bloke's that, because he hasn't had an easy life. He's been booed here and didn't know whether he's wanted. So I'm only using that as an example for tonight, and I think it's worth looking at.
Mick Malthouse, Cameron Lee, Matt Clinch and Kelly Underwood, your team for Friday night footy. Tim Hodges down on the boundary in the West Coast Eagles, and the Gold Coast, a double-header tonight for the Friday night for round 21. So the Western Bulldogs have now won 3 on the trot, a chance to make that 4, and they've beaten sides significantly who have been above them. So all of a sudden they've found form at the right time, as Kelly made mention of. So big wins all of a sudden against Carlton, against Geelong, against Sydney. And the consistency of how high can they get, how good can they be with an unchanged lineup again tonight.
Mick, are you a believer in this deep into the season percentage being the best indicator of who the best teams are?
Absolutely.
The Bulldogs have got the third best percentage in the
and it's only just third. It's close to second. It's
so Sydney are out in front, and then the Brisbane Lions are just ahead by
not even 1%.
0.3.
0.3.
So they're almost the second best team as far as percentage goes.
And that's why I was never sold on Essendon. They've never. I don't think they've ever been above 100%.
No, well, they're at 95% now, so well back.
Well, they were drifting in those 90s right through the time when they were second or third. But and this is so I love Brad Scott, and this is nothing against Brad Scott, but they couldn't put sides away. When they lost badly. So I'm a big believer in percentage.
That would put them 15th. Essendon on the ladder if you just did it by percentage.
Yes.
Obviously, you need to win games as well, but 15th best percentage.
Yeah. And as you say, the Dogs are probably equal second, really. They're third, but equals, close enough.
So the Western Bulldogs not only have been able to get wins, but they kept Sydney to just 48 points last week, Geelong to 48 points. So Rory Lobb, but his influence in their back half. Marcus Bontempelli all of a sudden has become a real genuine threat as a forward. Their second leading goal scorer with 26 goals for the season, equal with Sam Darcy behind Jamara Ugle-Hagan with 37. So if you had a question mark around the Dogs, what might it be?
Is it sustainable? Can they keep doing it week after week after week? That's the only question for me. Adam Treloar, game number 250 tonight, I think he even said it during the week in an interview, career best form. He is playing brilliant football right now, and he's allowing Bontempelli to do what he does a little bit more forward. Ed Richards has been brilliant in the midfield.
That's the one.
All the elements that they've put in place, outstanding. Bailey Dale, the hard love that he got at the start of the year, has got him back playing terrific football off half back. It's all there. So my only question mark is, can they sustain it for another 8 weeks?
So do you trust them? That's the thing. They've got the spine now, haven't they? They've got, when they've got Lobb back, and then in the middle, Bontempelli, and up forward, the 3 key bigs. So do you trust them? It's all there, isn't it? And it's been there for the last couple of years.
I don't know if it has all been there. Not
you never liked the defence, did you?
No, I thought they were undermanned for a start off, and a couple of their secondary tools were just giveaways.
They were one of the premiership favourites, Mick, going into last year.
It has felt like a
side like this who can't fit McRae in tells you that they're getting a little bit of depth as well.
Yeah.
That they see. I know you said Treloar. Treloar's been reasonably consistent. He's had a couple of bad games, and he's had but Richards to me has been the catalyst, because I think Richards in there means that Liberatore. I know that they say Liberatore's going to change his game. You can't change the game. He's just a tough, hard. I've tried to look at taggers. If you don't mind me jumping in here about taggers, Ling, I know you're one of the best ever. But I don't know whether you can go into a final series without having some form of midfield defence, whether it be a Liberatore that goes, right, I have to take this bloke at the stoppages. Ed Richards, if he breaks, I need you to be able to chase him out of here. Now, he probably doesn't say that, but that's got to be a combination. And so that's why I say about tomorrow night, Carlton, Cincotta, Collingwood, who does he go for? What do they do with Dacos? So you go into with Fremantle going into the finals, who's their tagger? If it's Fife at stoppages, who gets them on the outside? If it's Sydney, are they going to rely just on those prolific ball-getting players?
No, Rowbottom does that, and James Jordan does the run with.
But he's going to have to come back to that. He's sort of drifted off that. I think that's why they're losing games. They've won so many games that it almost become who's going to get the football instead of what's my role. I think Sydney have to reinvent themselves. But anyway, I'm just getting back to the Dogs. Richards has allowed Liberatoria to be that hard nut again, and Bontempelli to be able to be that forward.
Because they haven't made that many changes from last year's team to this year's team, and yet you feel like there's comparisons between the Bulldogs and Carlton wanting the perfect list to play the perfect style of footy. And now Buku Kamas has come in, he's replaced Alice Keith, Rob's gone back. May not be perfect, but it may be effective.
Very effective. No, and certainly within that same personnel, but where the different spots that they're playing is just better suited to them. Ed Richards' power and burst through the middle is absolutely there. The forward line is working. The forward line is working so well. And when you've got three talls, genuine talls down there, who all play differently. Sam Darcy's just...
He's growing.
Oh, he's already playing terrific football. It's phenomenal how good he's going to be. But Norton plays a different way to Darcy, and Jamara plays a different way to both of them. So they're complementary of each other, and Cody Waitman fits in nicely with all of that. So all the elements are there. It's just simply whether or not... So they've got, if they're going to win it, 7 games to go. Well, they might...
What do they win, Lee? 3? They've got to win 3, don't they? These next 5? We've got 5 left.
We've got 4 rounds to go.
4.
If the Dogs won 4, they'd probably get to the top 4, depending on other results. If they win 3 of the 4, you'd imagine they'll be in the top half of the bottom half of the 8, if that makes sense. Yeah. Host an elimination final.
2 will get them...
2 would probably have them right on the edge, because 11, that would get them to 13.
Just on the edge, wouldn't it?
If they only win 2 out of the next 4, then we start questioning their form because of the doubts and who they're playing, because they should win them. If they win all 4 and then they get a week off and that gets them in the top 4, they've only got to win 3 finals only. It's 7 games to go to win a premiership. Now, what they're producing over the last 3 weeks is good enough to win the flag. But you've got to do that now for 7 weeks straight, because in order to have that one less game, they need to finish inside the top 4.
Because that's the part, isn't it? You're beating Carlton, you're beating Geelong and Geelong, you're beating Sydney and Sydney. So the belief is we can win anywhere, anytime, if we can just keep the momentum going. On the flip side of that,
Nick, you have to say the flip side.
Does anyone believe in Melbourne? 2021, they won the premiership. Probably the only glowing stat coming into tonight is they've won 4 of the last 5 against the Western Bulldogs, including that 2021 premiership. But they've only played at Docklands once, and that was the one occasion the Western Bulldogs actually won out of the 5. So the previous 3 had been at the MCG, 1 in Perth, and we know the reasons why. The retirement of Angus Brayshaw, the injuries to Christian Petrarca, Max Gawn coming back into the side, James Jordan, Brodie Grundy leaving Melbourne. It feels like all of a sudden what was going to be a golden period for Melbourne is slipping through their fingertips if they don't make finals once more.
Yeah, and I don't think they will make finals. They've still got some very good players, mind you, but Clayton Oliver is playing some solid football, but he's showing what happens when you don't have a great pre-season. Max Gawn has carried the weight of the whole world on his shoulders for so many years and dragged that entire world to a premiership. So he's a phenomenon, but he is sore. He's come back probably 2 weeks earlier than would be perfect with that injury that he had. You would have loved him to have had another couple of weeks. May and Lever are both still very, very good players. They've got quality there. Cozzy Pickett could be a star and shows glimpses. But
May and Lever work out well on the back line.
Absolutely.
But they can win the 4 games. I'll just read them out. Tonight, we know that. Yep. They've got Port at home. Yep. Port aren't, they're not great. They've got the Gold Coast, who you don't know. Mind you, it's in Gold Coast who don't lose, but you don't know. And they've got Collingwood. So they've got the full possibility don't know if destiny's in their own hands, but if you put 9 and 4 together, that gives you 13. Everyone's saying 13 will make it. So, you know.
It's the Freo 2 losses that have you scratching your head when you lose so comprehensively to one side. But you're right, they only lost to the Giants by 2 points last week. So if they can bring that sort of form tonight, it will be a massive victory tonight. If you want to join us, 0437 774 774 is the SMS line. It's a massive week for the Collingwood Football Club. Scott Pendlebury becomes the 6th player to reach the 400-game milestone. Kel, it's been an interesting week because the Collingwood president, Jeff Brown, has come out and has declared full support for CEO Craig Kelly, the subject of racism allegations, which is going to be heard before the courts in the reference to the former Collingwood head of First Nations strategy, Mark Cleaver. There's not a lot in which we can say, given the fact that these claims will go in front of the court, but off the back of the Do Better report for Collingwood, it's another frustrating storyline on what it should be a great week of celebration.
Well, it's not a good look, is it, after the Do Better report? It's probably the last thing that the club would want to deal with, but it's a workplace disagreement that is now before the courts, and Craig Kelly and his president in Brown have both denied the allegations, so they're going to fight these. So given it's before the courts, there's really not much else we can say other than it probably took the shine off the week for Scott Pendlebury, which was really disappointing. Do you question the timing of it? I'm not sure. But that's about all we can really say at the moment.
When the accusations are filed in the courts and it becomes public on a Monday, everyone's going to report on it, the same way in which the Tyson Stengel story took place. So Mick, having coached Scott Pendlebury, Lingy having played alongside him and tagged him, 6th player to reach the 400 milestone. What's his legacy in your eyes for Mick, a 2-time premiership player who you would have seen from an early stage of his career come in and just excel from the outset?
Yeah, very interesting. He joins an elite group. When you consider the AFL's been going, or VFL's been going for over 120 odd years, and there's only 6 players, the uniqueness to me is that when you analyse Tuck, Bartlett, I think this is around about the order, Tuck, Bartlett, maybe Harvey, Fletcher, Burgoyne, then there's a couple of things that are common with them. One is that they hardly ever got injured because they looked after their bodies and they were wiry type, and they all had speed.
Yep.
Burgoyne probably wasn't lightning, but was quick enough.
He was in his younger days.
Yeah, so you would attest to that. But Scotty Pendlebury's never been quick, so therefore he hasn't had pace to lose. So he's been able to just work through what he does best, is win the football, sell the dummy. How he sells it, that's just body movement, it's basketball fashion, it's IQ, being able to move the ball to a teammate, whether it be by foot or hand, in a better position. He's done that for nearly 20 years, and not expose the ball to the opposition nor himself to be caught that often. And more remarkable, as remarkable, to be playing in the middle. And I'm interested, Lingy, that the weight change of players through the middle went from, let's say, Kevin Bartlett. Kevin Bartlett would have been 82, 83 kilos, I would have thought, as a rover. He played half forward. I know Dane Swan was 95. I'm assuming you were very much the same. I know Paddy Cripps would be probably about the same. To be able to get in there and keep getting hit, the bodies, you'd be surprised how many times through a game. One is when the ball's in your hand, if you counted the seconds the ball's in your hand, it's not that often. But if you count the number of times that you actually get hit, bumped, bowled, tackled, you have to go and hit shoulders, hit arms, hit hands, it'd be over 100 a game. For 400 games plus training, it's more remarkable that players can get through. And for him, the way he's conducting himself on and off the ground, and I knew that from the word go, and I know this is easy to say this now, but we used to have a training camp at Collingwood, and we'd go off with our whole group, and we'd come back, and then we'd the draft. And all of a sudden you go, well, hang on, I've got 6 or 7 players that we've just drafted. They haven't joined in, they don't really know his place, so I'd take them away, just a couple of day draft, a couple of day camp, and took him away with the likes of, I think Tyson Goldsack would have been there. There was Danny Stanley, Dale Thomas, etc., and we went away and we played golf. And the boys being boys, 18-year-old, having a bit of muck around, and he had a real crack at it. And I thought, oh, hang on. So I took him aside and said, Scotty, just leave that to me. I'll handle any of those sorts of, if there's issues. But boys are boys, and it's a training camp. But just remember that everyone's different, and everyone needs to support each other. I never had one more word with him about that. He adjusted automatically. He knew then that everyone was different to him. And in fact, there's hardly any players are identical. So therefore, you've got to treat 40 players individually with common goals. He's been able to adjust that all the way through his football. And I reckon he's been a coach for 5 or 6 years
100%.
On the ground. And it's made him. He has just been a credit to him and his family.
And from afar, when you're playing against them, Clinchy, you prepare by watching what they've done over the last few weeks, what their tendencies are. So you can't cover every outcome in a game, especially when I'm playing on someone as good as Scott Pendlebury. But you try and pick their tendencies. You try and understand where they like to get it, where you prefer them to get it as opposed to somewhere else. And obviously a lot of your own decision-making comes in. Well, if I can cut that one off, I might be able to get involved there. All that. So that's all going on from afar. So at the same time, you're also kind of guessing what they're like as a person, and you hear, a story or two. And Swanee is probably a good example. Swanee, you hear a story of Swanee being a bit of a scallywag, and you're like, oh, he sounds like a bit of fun, this sort of thing. But you've got no idea what they're really like. But what I could see from Scott Pendlebury, and an educated guess of what he was like, was somebody who was so dedicated to his craft, so dedicated to making himself the best version of himself he could possibly be, understanding that when he was young and I played on him and I might have been able to cover this and this part of his game, the next time I played on him, he threw something completely different at me that I'm like, oh, hang on, I don't know. Now I've got to readjust, and he's got a hold of me, and he's toweling me up for a bit because I have to then adjust to what he was doing. And the whole time I was thinking, wow, this guy must really think about his footy. He must be so dedicated, not just to his body and his physical preparation, but the way that he thinks about football and understands it from a holistic perspective, but his own perspective. So I've always admired him from afar. I love the fact I got the opportunity to play on him at times, and the fact that he's got to 400 games.
This is his 20th season, isn't it?
Next year will be his 20th.
He's already announced he's going around next year, so that will be his 20th season.
Well, he started in 2005, wasn't it?
It was taken in 5, wasn't
2005.
Oh,
wasn't he taken in 2005 with Daisy? I heard Daisy tell a great story in Grand Final week, an event I was hosting, where he said that they were having a weekend off, and he said, if anyone thinks they're going to get into a bit of mischief, or if they think they're going to get into a bit of trouble, raise your hand. And so Swanee and Daisy and Heath Shaw raised their hand, and Scott Pendlebury put up his hand up, and you said, Scotty, and he said, I'm really worried, Coach, that I'm going to overtrain. Is that true?
No, that'd be, well, look, it could have been true. I got no idea. You've asked me a bloke that's had I use a concussion thing, but I don't remember some of these things that these blokes do.
I think we
can
take it as possible.
Daisy had the whole function centre in hysterics.
Well, it was
Daisy Wood.
2005 draft. So, this is his 19th season. He's going to play him for his 20th
season.
A
lot of seasons.
So, Brent Harvey, 432, Michael Tuck, 426, Sean Burgoyne, 407, Kevin Bartlett, 403, Dustin Fletcher, 400, and Scott Pendlebury becomes the 6th player to reach the 400 milestone. In a word, can Collingwood win an emotionally charged game against the Blues?
I think somebody that special, that truly special to a club, the Collingwood people can have the argument, not me, perhaps the greatest player in Collingwood's history and their incredible history. I think you get up for that. Yep, they find a way. There's enough talent still there, dedicated to what they have to do. You win these ones. There's ones where you go, you should be up for that player's 150th milestone. You're like, whatever. I'd love to. This is special. You get up and you win this one. Yep, they can do it.
So Scott Pendlebury tomorrow night joins the 400 club as he plays his Magpies against Carlton. The umpires making their way out to the middle here at Docklands. There's no late changes for Footscray taking on Melbourne. Caleb Daniel, the sub for the Dogs, and Daniel Turner for the Demons. And after this, the beauty is we'll take you straight to the west as the West Coast Eagles host the Gold Coast Suns and round 21 of the AFL, the countdown to September. It gets closer by the week. Stay with us on ABC Sport.
Roy and HG. This medal-winning duo are no strangers to the City of Lights. But, mes amis, it's not just the Olympic Games. It's the culture, the fashion, the politics, the art, the opera, plus BMX bikes and weightlifting. That's people, medals and cheese daily during the Olympics across the nation, teetering on the brink of joyful chaos on ABC Radio and on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
Footy's biggest weekly stage, Friday night footy.
Footy's back now.
Oh, footy's back, baby.
Pulls the trigger on goal and goes bang.
'Cause here it comes, here it comes.
AFL.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On ABC Radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Something big is coming, I know.
As the race for September continues to heat up, the Western Bulldogs are charging as they've entered the 8 for the first time since round 6, and they may be playing as good a footy as anyone at this time of year as they eye the Brisbane Lions and the Hawks, while the Demons, their finals hopes might be clinging by a thread. The Demons are in 11th spot and all of a sudden now need to win just about every game in order to feature in September. Hi everyone, great to have your company for a double header on this Friday night of round 21. It's Footscray reverting back to their traditional name to start round 21 and a homage to their 1954 premiership as they take on the Demons. And then to follow from the west, it's the West Coast Eagles taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Damien Hardwick's side looking for their first win on the road in season 2024, while they are still a mathematical chance to feature in September. And the West Coast Eagles hoping for their first win under caretaker coach Jared Schofield. Matt Clinch and Kelly Underwood to call the action. Tim Hodges is down on the boundary. The coaching icon Mick Moldhouse is with you in the back row. And the Geelong legend Cameron Ling as the Western Bulldogs make their way out through the banner. And Kel, it's a special occasion for Adam Treloar. Game 250. And he has that unique piece of history where he's played under 100 games for the Giants, the Magpies and the Bulldogs. But he is one of the good guys of the footy industry.
Yep, and he's in career best form. Never played All-Australian, made the All-Australian team. He's made that squad quite a few times. Could this be his year? He burst through the banner with his daughter, little toddler, gave his partner Kim Ravallion, who's just retired as an Australian netballer, a kiss on the way through. So great scenes. And we're winding back the clock 70 years tonight, Clinchy, because we are celebrating, well, they've known this week as the Footscray Football Club, and they are celebrating tonight their 1954 premiership. They beat Melbourne on that day by 51 points back in September 1954. Of course, they've only won the 2 flags. They've been around for 100 years. And can you believe one premiership player was out here with the Premiership Cup just before they burst through the banner? And there's 4 living players left. One was Doug Reynolds, who made the effort to get here tonight. He turns 91 in the first week of September. So incredible stuff by Doug Reynolds, one of 4 surviving players from that 1954 premiership. They've only won the 2. They went on a magic carpet ride that year in 2016, and it's feeling very, very similar in 2024.
And he'll be hoping to see his doggies in another September campaign. So it's the original Footscray jumper which they wore on that day. They've got the red collars, so we'll have a look at that, Kel, and see if we think it works for them with the 1954 little premiership trophy on the front of the jumper. So the Bulldogs are out there going through their paces. No late change with Caleb Daniel, the sub, and the Demons are only a few moments away with no change there, and Daniel Turner will be the sub tonight. So we've spoken for some of our listeners who have been with us for the last 25 minutes or so on ABC Sport Digital around the prospect of the Demons as they break their way through the banner, led by Max Gawn, Cameron Ling, Mick Moldhouse. Where do you think tonight's game is going to be won, given the Bulldogs have been so dominant in recent weeks? And if I throw a stat at you, the Demons, they're not regarded as a great clearance side. They haven't won the clearances against an opposition side since round 2. So that's the challenge. Everyone thinks of Melbourne as this great dominant clearance side. Not anymore, and they've had real issues in scoring in recent weeks.
Yeah, well, you straight away go to Oliver, Petrarca, Viney, Max Gawn in the ruck. They have to be a great clearance team, but obviously no Petrarca. Oliver not at his absolute peak given the interruption over the pre-season. Viney still battles away hard and is just so tough and does everything he can. But
so he's their number 1 clearance player for Melbourne, but he's ranked 29th in the AFL. So what was once a strength has all of a sudden become one of their real weaknesses.
Yeah, and I think with anything, the top clearance players are usually always in a complementary midfield as well. I mean, Tom Liberatore is an outstanding clearance player. Probably on par with a Jack Viney for that hardness. And Libba's probably better at it, but they're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
But then when you throw in the threat of Bontempelli and the movement of Treloar and maybe the power of Richards, Libba has more space to work in to get those clearances. Right now, it is Viney or bust with the Melbourne a little bit. I think they need to. Let's not say they need to win that one, Mick. The midfield clearances, because that's a huge ask. But break even. You can't let the Dogs just own those clearances. I was working at the Geelong Bulldogs game down at Cardinia Park, and the Bulldogs completely owned the clearances, owned the middle of the ground, and that allowed that ball to live in the forward line, and now a really threatening forward line. And we, earlier on when we first came on, we sung the praises of Rory Lobb and Bruku Kamas and the way that back line's working. Well, they can get set pretty comfortably when the ball is going to their forward end first and then is trying to transition the entire length of the ground. They're comfortably set. It's a different story if it's
coming straight into
straight in.
Yeah, well, I like anywhere, Lingy. That's what I say all about any side is get the ball. If you can get in there when it's 6v6, get the thing in there. The one interest to me will be English has always struggled against Gawn, as have a lot of ruckmen.
Yep.
Now, we know he's not 100% fit, and that's well known. But I reckon if to make life easier, English needs to get on his bike. If he's not going to win the tap-outs and around the ground, get in that forward line. Now, we know that Gawn will go, he can run all day, but Gawn needs to push the other way as well to create some forward options. But I reckon English's form against the top level ruckmans is always look. If you rated him, you're going to say he's probably 7th or 8th, maybe even 9th or 10th. But around the ground stuff, as the old ruck rover, he's probably in the first 4 or 5.
Yeah,
he's still on sign, Tim English. Everyone sort of felt like it was going to be a relatively straightforward exercise, but is there a question around how valuable he is to this Western Bulldogs lineup in a stacked side where they would have salary cap challenges?
Yeah, but I think what we're seeing from them, again, I'm assuming, I think is some good responsibility. History has shown us now you can't overpay for your ruckman.
No.
You can't. Now, Max Gawn might be right out by himself as just something special because he's got the leadership element and everything. But Brodie Grundy's a cautionary tale. The 7 years, $7 million, whatever it was alleged to be, and then you get Darcy Cameron on half that, so you can spend that amount of money in other places on your list, and all of a sudden you've built yourself a premiership team.
Yeah,
and you win the flag. So
history's almost proven that. Look, you have a look at Geelong.
Well, Reece Stanley was there, right?
Yeah, have a look at Richmond. Nankervis,
yep.
Have a look at Collingwood. Jolly come in as a ruckman. Have a look at, just trying to think whose Hawthorn ruckman were at the time.
Or Ben McAvoy.
Ben McAvoy come from St Kilda.
Yep.
Yeah, you're spot on.
And so
didn't Max Bailey playing one, I reckon?
Yeah. So instead of I'm going to pay a ruckman $1 million a year, if you can pay a good ruckman, not a great one, but a good ruckman, $500,000 to $600,000 a year, and you can save that $400,000 per year and allocate it to other parts. You may be able to keep a certain player that's really valuable. You may be able to attract a certain player.
Which is harder to play those roles.
Yeah, and so Ed Richards, for instance, Clinchy, Ed Richards' form this year, I don't know what his contract status is. He might have a couple of years to run. But if he's out next year and his trajectory continues in the middle of the ground, Ed Richards is going to be due a bigger payday. So if you allocate too much money to a ruckman...
Yeah.
Can you pay Ed? If you pay Ed, you lose someone else.
That's right. So, and the other one I was just trying to think who the other one was that, West Coast. They lost Nui for the grand final, and they had they had two players that double teamed against Grundy. So So I'm with you. As long as you get someone who's highly competitive. You have a look at big boy McAvoy.
Yeah.
What was his asset?
Such a competitor.
Massive heart. Just kept on keeping on. And you sometimes you destroyed him in the ruck, but not around the ground. He'd go down the goal screen and take a big mark, kick a goal, and get them back in the game. So Yes, it's a very interesting one though. So Clinchy.
It's a good point you make. So I was just checking the West Coast one of Scott Lysette and then Nathan Vardy was
Vardy extra long
one. Yeah. So, so to answer your question, I think they're being responsible. Somebody's obviously throwing big money at him in offers. If the Bulldogs end up saying, well, no, we can't match that because it would blow out, there'd be flow-on effects and would blow out everything we want to do with other players, they're doing the right thing, I think, when it comes to ruckman.
Of course, Bailey Smith is the other who's out of contract at season's end, recovering from his ACL injury and hasn't really been mentioned as being on the radar as possibly returning before the season's out. As always, we'd love to be live and interactive on Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport. 0437 774 774. As Stuart from Western Sydney has done so, great to see the Bulldogs calling themselves Footscray. Western is a ridiculous name. Let's hope they keep the Footscray name for good now. Mick, do you think in your lifetime a non-Victorian will play 400 games? If not, what would be the mark in your eyes? Mundy at 376 games is huge. That's from Leon in Bull Creek, Western Australia.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think Western Australians, because of the time difference and the travel, I think if you come from Sydney or Brisbane, it's like a tram trip down Collins Street, so don't get caught up in that one. But and South Australia, 35 minutes away by jet, so... But certainly from Western Australia, it's going to be very, very difficult to get that 400 mark. And you need a lot of luck. Mind you, the way the AFL's going, you'll probably play 50 in a year. So you could do it in 4 years. And what's that, 8 years?
Well, we are up to 24 rounds plus opening round. I couldn't even give you an answer, but the AFL in terms of round 24, because you did ask me last week.
That's right.
You said, can you find out the fixture for round 24? So the AFL said they will formally announce that on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, come.
I tried to ask them.
Oh, this Wednesday. Hang on. We've already gone past this Wednesday, so what's happening?
Next Wednesday.
Now, yes. and so in other words, everyone who's sweating on games interstate or whatever and booking planes and booking that, no.
I did try and ask them, could you give me like a steer? Is it going to be in Victoria, the Friday night game or not?
Yeah.
There's a certain coaching icon who would just like to know. I got no response. Sorry, Mick. I asked the question.
We've got to make dinner plans, Mick, don't we, if we're not working? Goodness.
Oh.
So, Lingy, how do we make...
Not together, by the way. Goodness me.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, I don't need
to
a
get
night
together for a
off.
little
Bring
team
Ned
dinner.
along.
Invite Corby along. Make the case for Melbourne fans tonight, Lingy. How can they win? Cosy Pickett in their midfield.
Yeah, 100%.
What can they do to try and add a spark?
Yeah, no, Pickett, you've nailed that beautifully. I was even watching the warm-up there. Pickett's been involved in the middle of the ground. I think they need his dynamic play in there. Okay, so you've got Viney and Oliver just banging away, going as hard as they possibly can. But Pickett can be the point of difference. Yep. So that's one thing. Enormous pressure. Just relentless pressure that forces the Bulldogs to kick the ball forward half a second earlier than they want to. That's all you're trying to do. Half a second earlier, put half a metre more height on the ball than what they want to do. And then Mayan Lever comes in and they can get their +1 of one of those guys. They can get an intercept mark or two and they can counter-attack a little bit. It cannot end up a high-scoring game if Melbourne want to win. It's got to be a lower-scoring game. It's got to be through relentless pressure. That is their only chance, Clinchy. And I don't give them a chance, by the way. I think the Dogs win. But that is their avenue to a win that would get them back into finals contention.
Can you make any case for Melbourne tonight, Mick?
Oh, yeah, I can, because we spoke about this either early on air or off air, is that the Dogs look fantastic, but we've seen, unfortunately, the Dogs can also play some ordinary football. Perhaps that the structure and setup at the moment means that could be behind them. I hope it is. But Melbourne have got a lot to play for. I don't... The draw shouldn't be, I sit back and go, oh, we can't win 4 games. They can win 4 games, so... I think that what Lingy said was spot on. They need to make sure that Lever and May can play the way they want to.
Footscray and Melbourne to start Friday night off round 21. The final member of our team sitting in the front row tonight is Tim Hodges. Welcome to you, Hodgie.
Hello, Clinchy. Hello, crew. Nice to be with you. A win at the toss for Max Scorn. The Demons will kick to the river end. That's the right of screen if you're at home watching on telly. Nice to see Adam Treloar toss the coin before his 250th game. Much loved at the Giants and squeezed out. Much loved at the Magpies and squeezed out. Great to see him playing his best footy at the Dogs. The roof is shut. It's a chilly Melbourne night. 12 degrees, heading for a low of 8 tonight. It's an early start. That or the Olympics, I think, has caught plenty out. The Dogs were hoping for 30,000 tonight. We're still some way from that. I would reckon maybe only 20,000 at the moment, so it will build, but right now it's a really poor crowd. Maybe the Boomers have won out. No late change. The subs for the Dogs, it's Caleb Daniel. For the Demons, Daniel Turner. Have a good game. A good call, guys.
Thank you, Hodgie. It's the Retro Dogs under the roof looking to continue their climb and end the Demons' finals hopes in round 21 of the AFL. Here's Kelly Underwood on ABC Sport.
And two of the most informed ruckmen, English and Gawn. English clearly gets it down. It was Viney that handballs it out into the space to the Dockland side wing. Bontempelli's able to scoop it up. And the first effective kick goes inside 50. Waitman in front. He flew. Off hands, comes back to Waitman on the right. He just hacks at it. Tried to squeeze. A little snap it was about 20 metres out and it's through for A- score.
Very sharp.
Yeah,
really sharp at the moment.
And there was one player spinning forward for the Dogs. It was Riley West. He's been terrific this season, West. His pressure, his ground ball work and kicking regular goals as well.
No late changes for either side as Stephen May brings the Demons back into play. Kicks up the left half back. The mark is taken at half back. Colstrip looks for options. He's got the fluorescent orange boots on tonight as he kicks up to Alex Neil-Bullen. He's able to take the mark on the city side of Docklands. Opening minute here as he veers out to the right and drives him up towards half forward. Max Gawn's in the pack as well as Harrison Petty peels to the back for Caulfield, who gathers. The former Saint bangs it back up the wing in the direction of Riley West, who cannons into Neil-Bullen. Did he hang on to the mark long enough? He didn't, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. Centre wing on the outer side. It's the Bulldogs leading by a point.
They love a quick start, the Bulldogs. They kicked the first three and silenced the crowd in Sydney last Sunday. Wrestling on the city side as the two ruck go at it. Now Bontempelli flicks it and then toe pokes the kick. On the bounce, trapping it was Waitman. He was caught behind. Popping up and grabbing it was Jamara. It comes back to Treloar. He pokes the pass to Waitman bravely. Going back with the flight, off balance. He launched himself in the air in the right forward pocket, Waitman. Crunching him late was Lever. Lucky not to give away a 50. And he'll go back and have a set shot. Tidy Shangle in that right forward pocket at the northern end.
Oh, very, very brave for a start off. The bloke that's had a dislocated elbow and I think some surgery actually during the year. Go back like that. Know that he's not going to be free of being had some sort of contact. That's a fantastic mark.
He loves playing here. He's got a better record at this ground than any other ground in Australia. He brings energy to this side. He's wearing the sleeve because of injuring his elbow earlier this season. And this time he's missed to the right. So 2 minus scores for Cody Waitman. And it's 2 behinds for the Doggies. D's yet to score.
Haven't got past halfway, Melbourne, as yet, as it's brought back into play by Stephen May to Pickett. Beautiful pass to Rivers in the middle of Docklands. He takes the mark of the back edge of the centre square, wants to try and move it forward. Melcham's the target in from the side. Rory Lobb palms it down, charging through Neil-Bullen. Can't take it cleanly. Worked off it in the end by Williams. Bramble gathers for the Dogs. Hand pass to Liberatore, to Treloar. Quick hand pass to Dale. Tries to run the gauntlet, fends off Oliver. Hand pass to Liberatore. Now they're out. Bontempelli over the top. Hand passes at the half forward. Vandermeer on 50. This would be a finish. And he bounces it through. No. To the left-hand side of the left goalpost. Just offline. The Bulldogs are the opening 3 scores, but they've all been behind as they cannoned it from half-back by hand.
Oh, he was celebrating too, Vandermeer. He was giving the whole point to the crowd.
Yeah, and Jamara was standing at the top of the goal square with both his hands out saying, hey, what about me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so
selfish.
Kick in from the D's. It's been a free kick. It's going the way of Waitman, and he just dabs that pass. He delivers it right into the stomach of Norton, who was on a short, sharp lead in that right forward pocket. So tough set shot here. He's right up against the boundary, right up against the fence.
That was he had a channel because of outstanding work done off the ball.
1, 2, 3 steps for Norton. Snap, skies it. It's high and it's accurate. The Doggies are dialed in for this Friday night game. 1-3-9, an explosive start against the D's. I don't think it's been inside 50 yet, Mick.
No, I don't think it has. Oh, yes it has. Yeah.
It got to the top of the 50 and then Neil-Bullen got tackled.
Yeah. 4-1.
Yeah, that's where it was cleaned up by Lobb.
That's the difference in their forward line, though, Mick. What you're talking about there is, so that channel is created because of the movement of all of those forwards. They're all working for each other and the differences of each of the players. So the 3 talls, Darcy, Norton Ugle-Hagan are all different players. Then Riley West, Cody Waitman, really different players. Poulter's in there right now. And they're all working well together, so you don't have 2 or 3 players competing for the same ball. Norton gets a beautiful leading channel, hit up, great finish.
The Dogs are the opening goal here on Friday night footy as Max Gawn wins down the tap for Melbourne, but it's Liberatore gets the clearance, kicks the Dogs up to the top of the 50, charging out Norton, can't take the mark, it spills out to Tom McDonald, the Melbourne veteran defender, looks to give off the hand pass at halfback, he gives it to Rivers, he tucks the footy under his arm, hand pass to Clayton Oliver on the City side wing, he turns and hacks it around his corner, over his shoulder, a bouncy ball towards Bontempelli, the Bulldogs captain taps it down to Treloar, in game 250 it's partially smothered, but does get away to Williams, on the wing he takes a bounce, gets to right half forward, gets to 65, into the pocket, Waitman the target, 1-2, got it! Ooh. In front of Moss needs Wakefield, and in the end he is looming as the most dangerous forward on the field at the moment. Cody Waitman with a 3rd shot on goal in the opening 6 minutes, a chance for his first goal.
Good luck to the Melbourne defenders though. The Melbourne midfielders have been awful to start this game. Clayton Oliver's had about 3 of his tackles broken, and the effort just then was second rate from such a quality player. They are walking the ball back inside their forward 50, the Dogs.
He's going to go the banana from a 25-metre out, 45-degree angle, and the Bulldogs dynamo puts through their second. The Dogs skip out to a 15-point advantage, 2-3-15 to Melbourne yet to score, and the Demons have been inside 50 just once. 6 inside 50s to 1. Through the opening 6 minutes on ABC Sport with Mick Malthouse and Cameron Long.
Well, he's kicked 1-2 already. Yeah. I would suspect that if you're going to have a player that's already kicked and taken 2 marks, that you've got to work it out as a backline player. No. And if he's touched the ball already and we've only gone a few minutes, I've got to start to tighten up, but I've got to tighten up on his preferred side and make sure he has to work to the fence.
If I'm a defender, though, can I tighten up while walking up to the midfield and absolutely unleashing on my midfielders?
Yeah. They just walk through.
It's horrible. Horrible. Great play by the Dogs, credit to them, but horrible footy from the Demons.
Brilliant bounce. Gawn tried to swipe it, fighting hard Rivers, he's held, and so it'll be a ball up right on the edge of the centre circle. English straight down the throat of Treloar, kicks over his head blindly, but playing in front of Lever is Norton. Norton stabs the pass. It was brilliant from Bontempelli. He's marked right on the 50. He wants to go. He sees something he likes. He keeps it low. He's kicked it straight to Tom McDonald, for the Demons. McDonald, he's gone. He tried to sidestep the man on the mark in Sam Darcy. He didn't hear Mara quietly come up behind him, and Jamara got him. He's gone.
No awareness that Ugle-Hagan was behind him.
What about his teammate? Why wouldn't his teammate scream out to him, "You're hot"? He just stood there and watched it.
So Ugle-Hagan, who's in a rich vein of form. In the last 3 weeks, he's booted 4 goals in every game. And he hits the post.
He was short runner.
Well, what was he? 20 metres out, pretty much directly in front, and he's clattered it into the right-hand goal post. So 2-4-16, a let-off for these Ds that are rather sloppy and a little nervy early on.
Worrying signs for Simon Goodwin as Stephen May brings Melbourne back into play. Up to Gawn, can't take the mark on the wing. He volleys it 15, 20 metres further. Back with the flight. Chandler did well, knocked it away from Liberatore, then bounces into the head of Marcus Bontempelli. And the two take the ball out of play, not far from where Tim Hodges is watching on.
Clinchy, just on the crowd, I'm not sure whether the AFL's done a good enough job actually letting people know that we've started early. Maybe people listening to us are wondering why this game started early, but there are still thousands of people coming through the turnstiles. If you're a Demon fan coming in late, you'd be thinking, why have I come in and should I be staying much longer if it's going to continue like this?
Just walk in and turn left of the bar, you reckon, Hodgie? So the Bulldogs by 16 points. It is an early start, so a 7:15 local time start. The match in the West getting underway in about an hour and a bit's time. 8:30 Melbourne time for the West Coast Eagles and the Gold Coast Suns. Dale at half-back, almost run down by Chandler. Good kick into the middle of the ground. It opens up play for English. He marks, wanted to give the hand pass off to Garcia. Now he beautifully kicks it laterally and finds Williams inside 50, pretty much directly in front. 45 metres out from goal.
That's what we were talking about early in the pre-match, was English with the injury to Gawn. English has got to get on his bike, just make Big Max have to overwork
Yes.
to get to him.
So Gawn's still going to be strong in the contest, but then English got to treat it like he's a midfielder. Just run and spread like he did then. Great kick too.
Beautiful kick.
4 goals of the season for Bailey Williams, looking for the Dogs' third. He comes in from just inside 50. It's a beautiful kick off the boot. And the Western Bulldogs are off the leash early. 3-4-22 to Melbourne. Bagel yet to score. Through 10 minutes here at Docklands. Matt Clinch, Kelly Underwood, Tim Hodges, Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling with you for ABC Sport.
And that's happening, Clinchy, because simply, in really, really simple terms, Dogs are winning the contest 13-3.
Yeah.
That's a smashing in the contested possessions. 3 contested possessions to Melbourne. And then they're spreading hard, Mick, and they've got options everywhere. It was English who got forward hard then, and then Bailey Williams. It's been Bontempelli at times. It's been Treloar at times. But they are destroying them in the contest.
Well, 33 to 14 possessions.
Yeah.
And we've gone, real time, we've gone 7 minutes. So that's extraordinary. And
Feels like they've got an extra player out there, Mick. I don't know whether they've got an extra at stoppages and Melbourne's got their spare back.
Call for a head count, Cal.
Yeah, I think so. So back underway in the centre. Van Rooyen in the ruck and he fires out the handball. Set upon was Bowie.
By contact, Darcy.
Yeah, and it'll be a free kick going the way of Darcy. It was taken high. Wheeling past was Dale, and Dale's delivery was exquisite to Jamara, but he couldn't take it out in front of his, right in front of his eyes because of the pressure that was applied by the defender.
Yeah, great defence by Murray.
Well, think what Lingy said pre-match. It's much easier if the ball comes straight into your line and you get no support, and that's what's happening. Melbourne can't get any support.
Boundary throw in 50 around from the Dogs. It's all Dogs doing the attacking. It's the 2 young guns, Van Rooyen and Darcy. Darcy fumbled it in the air and then he wraps up Sparrow in a tackle.
I was going to win this ruck, Lou.
Darcy and Van Rooyen. Darcy into space. Beautifully. Great tap. Gave it off to Garcia, who gives it to Bontempelli, and now the ball comes right to the top of the goal square. Bowie's able to get it and scoop it to McVee, who kicks high, but it's all Dogs there. Dre, turnover. They can go again.
Comes inboard to Bailey Dale. The Bulldogs by 22 points. In the middle of the ground for Bramble. As Buku Khamis laterally, he slips over. Can't quite race back after it. He might still get there first, though. Top of the 50. Hand pass to Vandermeer. 2 slip for Bailey Williams. It's picked off by Ed Langdon of Melbourne. Hand pass to Tom McDonald. He kicks a clearing ball up the wing, but the Bulldogs are well set. Bramble takes intercepting Mar. Hand pass to Khamis. Back to Bramble. Hand pass to Garcia. They're linking up here. Now McNeil from 45. He hits the left goal post. A flying shot. You heard the reaction from the Bulldogs fans. The Bulldogs by 22 points. Simon's from Largs Bay. He says, is Melbourne playing? I don't hear any of their names being called.
It's got a whiff about it, this one, hasn't it?
It's 47 disposals to 20. So not very often, Simon.
It's not a good smell if you're a Demons fan, as the long kick in comes into play off hands from the pack. It's all the Dogs. Garcia twisting and turning right in front of the interchange gates. It's a wobbly old kick out in front of Norton. It beats him. McDonald's able to trap it to McVee. A high ball. Who's going to fly? Lobb's there, got his hands to it. Good recovery, good second effort. Off to Bramble, in traffic. Breaks, gets the hands free. Handball's back to Duray, off to Lobb, standing start. He just hacks it. Ugelhagen hits it hard, and a free going the way of the Demons. It was a holding, and Lever will take it.
He looks out to the city wing, puts it out in front of Chandler. Khamis and Liam Jones both make the spoil. The numbers are there for the Dogs as Dale gathers. Hand pass to Richards. Takes a bounce in the middle of Docklands. He's got options aplenty. Poulter marks at left half forward. Pickett's coming, racing on from the bench. The kick towards Jamara Ugelhagen can't take the mark. And Lever did enough with his body just to work him out of the contest. A throw in left forward pocket for the Dogs. Inside 50s, 15-1.
If I was going to say something bad about what's happening, they're going too wide. They've had options in the corridor on 3 or 4 occasions, just gone wide to Ugelhagen, just hasn't quite worked out.
These defence under siege. Darcy in front, down to the ground level. Hack kick out of there. It falls the way of Dale. Dale has to kick on his non-preferred right, and as a result, it just bounces in that right forward pocket and then dribbles over the boundary line. So this time a boundary throw in on the opposite pocket, the right forward pocket. Their handball has been exquisite. The speed, it takes you back to 2016. The in and under, quick, active hands.
And you can do that when you're dominating in the contest, 20-10.
Gawn goes the knuckle, only as far as West. Breaks off 1, breaks off 2. In the right forward pocket. oh, that would have been something special. Instead, it bounced across the face, through for a minor score. He is a man that's got his chest puffed out at the moment. He's in a rich vein of form. Riley West as well. You mentioned it earlier, Lingy.
Yeah, he is, Cal, but you just called a broken tackle. It was Oliver he broke again. I think that's his 4th broken tackle tonight. That's an intent thing.
Yeah, I think West is getting off too. He's getting the 6th defender.
Yeah.
Because they've got so many.
Demons by 24 points. May into the pocket for Bowie. Kicks up to the wing, and Max Gawn takes a good contested mark against Sam Darcy. And short to Chandler, just in front of the 2 benches. English and Trelaw, Viney, Mons Wakefield are trying to get back on. And short to Sparrow. Takes the mark on the broadcast side. Just the 15 minutes to Rivers. The Demons need him to get involved. With the Bulldogs leading by 24 points. 15 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport. Trent Rivers inside 50. Van Rooyen's the target. Fritsch in from the side. Buku Kamas makes the spoil and goes out of play.
We've got an entry though, Clinchy.
Just their second inside 50 for the match. The Bulldogs have had the previous 15 of 17.
And we've been going 15 minutes under the closed roof. 25,000 in here tonight. Toss back in. Deep inside 50, Van Rooyen in front, just palms it down once it hits the deck. He's the one that tackles Liberatore. In fact, it was Garcia. Coach calls him Sonny. Coach loves surfing. So tossed up, and the 2 young rucks.
I reckon Sonny Garcia would like to be in Chopu.
Oh, wouldn't he?
Right now.
Hasn't it been brilliant, the surfing at the Olympics? Anyway, there's a game here. Oliver overruns it right in front of goal. Bontempelli doesn't. Fires out the handball to Poulter. And they've got out of the D50 already, and he kicks looking for English, but filling the gap, plugging the hole was Big Max. And there was no way that the Dogs were going to clear that. So Max Gawn goes from the dockside wing to May, round the city side, and May's delivery is looking for and beautiful to Fritsch. He had Liam Jones one side, he had Buku Kamas the other, and Fritsch, with the beautiful delivery from May, was able to take the mark.
And the reason why Fritsch took almost an uncontested mark in the end was because of the brilliant work from Jake Melksham. Just a subtle little nudge off the ball to make sure that Liam Jones couldn't come in over the top and help out. Great teamwork.
So Tuffy Shangle, 40 metres out. 4-time Melbourne leading goal kicker. Can he make it 5 years in a row? Sends it on its way, and it's across the face. English has marked it right on the line, but the umpire, well, they're going to have a chat about it. Was it a mark? They're going for the arc, and they will have a chat to determine whether it was marked by English right on the line, therefore no score, or whether it went over the line before it was marked and therefore 1 minus score. Melbourne's still on a duck. And they're still on a duck. Big fat 0 for the D's. Well, the mark will be paid to English. Dogs 3-6-24.
Well, Cal, big fat thing around the post. The padding is ridiculous. I know you've got to have it, but surely to goodness, that is a quarter inch behind the padding.
So the umpire hands the ball to Tim English, and Melbourne is still yet to score. Into the back pocket he goes to Caleb Poulter. 0437 774 774 is the SMS line. Pont will beat Melbourne on his own. He'll get 40 disposals on the way to 40 Brownlow votes. Easy win tonight by 12 goals. Kick up towards Sam Darcy, who just got rid of Max Gawn, who turns to the umpire, says he thought he was impeding the marking contest, but this young dog on the rise. Incredible to think he's just 21 years of age at 208 centimetres. Up towards Jamara Ugelhagen and English. Neither can take the mark. It clears to the back of the pack. Quick hand pass from McVie. Put Oliver under the pump. McVie races back after it. Lays the tackle on Poulter and takes him out of play for a boundary throw-in. Also on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Richmond Ocean Grove, just curious, what was the score in the 1954 Grand Final? Well, Melbourne lost by 51 points, I can tell you that.
They certainly did, and I can tell you that it was... Oh, I thought I'd written it down.
I was going to say, your preparation...
Oh, yeah, 102 to 51.
There you go. Kel's got you covered. The Sparrow kicks up towards half forward for Melbourne. Melksham knocks it on inside 50. It works. Not pretty. Van Rooyen a centering kick, and he finds Bailey Fritsch. Unselfish from the Melbourne key forward to find their spearhead, and it is directly in front, probably about 35 metres out from goal.
I think Melbourne player got away with that. That scoop Is
Is that a throw?
Oh, it's a
Jake
throw.
Melchin? Yep.
Yeah.
15-12-102 to 7-9-51.
A slap or a punch, yep, fine, but that is a scoop, and they're deemed as a throw.
So Bailey Fritsch directly in front. Boy, how do Melbourne need him right now? Their spearhead. Fritsch comes in from directly in front, and the Demons are on the board. 20 minutes into this clash, Friday night footy of round 21. The Demons 1 straight 6 to Footscray 3-6-24. And the Bulldogs' run of 3 consecutive goals comes to an end. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling, your experts on ABC Sport.
Jack Collins kicked 7 in that one, Kel. Just add a
Thanks.
little bit there. No worries.
Did Mick remember and write it on your notebook?
No, I didn't.
What time do the Boomers play tonight?
Did you go to that?
No.
Have fun?
Yeah, well, no, I just finished. I retired, by stage, playing.
Just finished high school.
Come on, Grandpa.
Yes, and I was born, Kel.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Dogs kicked the first 3 last week against us. In fact, they kicked 5-0 in that opening term against
Well, they should be that now.
the Swans.
The post twice.
Yeah, 3-6 to 1 goal, the D's. Gawn and English. Libba, quick hands. Treloar could have given it by hand to Libba. Instead goes his second option, which is driving kick out towards Darcy. Gets his hands to it. Comes the way of Oliver to Gawn, all by hand. This is Tholstrup, the youngster. He goes by foot to centre half forward. It's a bouncing ball. Who gets there first? Well done. And Chandler, he ducks, he weaves, and then he's been hit big time by Liberatore. He thought he had a bit of space.
You don't have that long when Libba's around.
Not when Libba's around. He didn't see him coming.
It was almost set up as one of those ones that you pray for. You just see he's balked one and thinks he's clear.
Western Bulldogs by 18 points. Liberatore to Bramble at half-back. Kicks up the wing. Darcy can't take the mark. Where Woden's hand pass is knocked out of play by Aaron Norton. He's got that left knee still heavily bandaged, but yes, he makes his way back to the forward 50. So at the moment, Melbourne have the back half at least how they would like, with a loose in defence, trying to get Stephen May free. As Tom McDonald goes to Darcy. Jamara Ugle-Hagen's on the bench at the moment, and Stephen May alongside Aaron Norton as it's thrown back in. Gorn down to Viney, knocks it on to Rivers, inside 50. Van Rooyen tries to shove Karmas out of the way. It may spill to Van Rooyen. He got a knock on from Fritsch, trying to get a hand pass to Petty. Ran into Richards, fends him off on the outside of the right boot, steps on goal and misses to the left-hand side. Did a lot of the heavy lifting, but couldn't finish in front of goal. The Dogs by 17 points. Melbourne with the last 2 scores of the match.
Yeah, they're hungry, the Dogs.
Well, they're back in the game.
Melbourne,
the D's.
yeah,
They're back in the game because the contested football all of a sudden now becomes important to them, and they're starting to do something with it.
So Bramble, it was that brought it back in. Lobb was involved, and then a wayward possession comes up to Langdon, a high ball. Once again, Lobb's there, always handballed into English. He's put him under the pump. English breaks a tackle, little give and go. He's like the smallest player out there. He used Garcia. He runs off. He handballs. Vandermeer's involved. And now a chance for Williams comes in. It was a low ball, tough one for Norton to pick up. Lever mopped it up, faked one way, fakes another, does well, bangs it out of the danger territory. Lobb looms over the top. Couldn't take the mark, but he's able to gather, and then he delivers down the line, and Vandermeer marks uncontested. Bulldogs set for another foray forward.
Inside 50, May's well set. Bontempelli flies from the back. He's first onto it. Side steps around Gorn. Hand pass to Garcia on the right-hand side. Great composure. Just pops it over the top to Aaron Norton, who is Stephen May's opponent. He went to the contest, and Norton just stayed where he was, and he marks just inside the 50. Out to the right. He'll shoot from 45 metres out.
Yeah, the big play in that whole section there was when Jake Lever got the intercept, given the Dogs had all charged forward. Tim English, everyone was running hard forward. As soon as they flipped it back the other way, he needed some composure and picked their way through and used all their spares. They would have had an easy shot at goal. Instead, he blasted it away. Dogs created another turnover and shot at goal.
Kicked the opening goal of the match. Aaron Norton out to the right. It's a high shot on goal. It's across the face, and Max Gorn rushes it through with both hands through for a minor score. The Bulldogs by 18 points, but Melbourne had had the previous 3 inside 50s. 24 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
May with the kicking duties. He goes short to Langdon. Goes back to the defensive goal square. Taking the mark is Howes. Oh, it's a wobbly kick. Getting a crucial arm in there is Richards. Now it's a 50-50 ball. Oliver comes in, picks it Gives it to Gawn. Gawn's caught. Gawn's gone. It'll be a free kick to Sonny Garcia. Huge tackle on the bigger player. The handball from Oliver, was it? To a standing Max.
That was Oliver saying, I don't want the pressure anymore. Here, you can have some of it.
So Garcia needs to kick it right on 50. He knows he doesn't have it in him, so he puts it up to the hot spot. And May, easy pickings, just runs, launches, and then onto the left, launches a huge kick.
Up to Petty, but it's a 2-on-1 in which he beats Lobb and Bramble. Well done by Harrison Petty. Hand pass to Fritsch. Kicks up towards Melcham at half forward. Liam Jones makes the spoil. Petty overran the footy. Bramble couldn't take it either. Trelaw, slick hand pass to DeRay. The Bulldogs around the city wing. Hand pass to Lobb and now to Poulter. Looks up towards half forward. English is on the stretch. He marks in front of Lever. Just inside the boundary at right half forward. Still 2 kicks out from goal, though, as Max Gawn is sitting as the loose inside the defensive 50 for Melbourne. So English is forced to turn inboard and finds Bramble. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
No, just watching Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He snuck on the ground and Stephen May good enough to see him and pick him up.
Cody Waitman's also just snuck back on as the mark is taken by DeRay. He's at right half forward, but no closer to goal. Still 65 metres out. Drives a long left-footed kick inside 50. Gawn's well set. Unable to take the mark, though. Bontempelli crashed the pack. At ground level, West is putting the pressure on for the Bulldogs. It spills out. Sparrow's hand pass to Langdon. To Rivers. Back to Sparrow. They run the gauntlet hard against the boundary. Hand pass missed the intended target. Vandermeer gathers. Hand pass to Bontempelli. The Bulldogs skipper wheels onto his left. Fires towards goal. It's a wrestle on the goal line and it gets there. Tom McDonald getting back. Can't get a hand onto it. And I think Riley West fought above his weight there.
They're going to check it, Clinchy. They're not sure, but it looks like it's a goal, plus a bit going on.
And there's a scurry going on. Vandermeer's into it. Just trying to have a look at the Melbourne player. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Stephen May or Clayton Oliver. And I think it's Clayton Oliver on the very bottom of the pack.
And Liver.
Oh,
that's a duo.
So if we had to pick names for the schoolyard, they'd probably be the 3 or 4 you'd think he might be up to no good. We go to the arc.
He's missed that. McDonald's missed that. There's no... If he had to put his fingers up, he may have got to it. The fist is missed.
Yeah. So Tom McDonald back with the flight, arm outreached, and it looks like it's missed his right fist.
That's a goal.
And it's bounced over the goal line.
Well, it should be just automatically done. I don't know why. The forensic stuff on this.
So the all clear will be a goal to the Western Bulldogs skipper, Marcus Bontempelli. So we just get one more freeze frame and zoom in on the right fist of Tom McDonald. And there is a gap between his fist and the ball. The Bulldogs fans see the response on the big screen. They're waving the Footscray flags.
Don't worry about the replay. I want to see who started the blue. Was it Libber or Oliver?
Goal. The Bulldogs have their 4th goal. 4-7-31 to the Demons 1-1-7. 27 minutes gone opening term on ABC Sports. Still to come from Perth tonight. The West Coast Eagles and the Gold Coast Suns. The Suns looking for their first away win of the season. And Jared Schofield chasing his first win as caretaker coach of the West Coast Eagles. Mick Moldhouse and Tim Hodges. Cameron Ling with Tim Hodges on the boundary.
2 shots to 11, Lingy. That's around about the game, as it's been. There's nothing distorted there. It's simply when Melbourne have had it, they've been clean in the forward line, but they've had enough of it. And when they don't become clean, the Dogs just run the ball out.
The only thing for our sake is the fact that it's close-ish, is the fact that it's not 9-2 right now.
Well, that's right. They've hit the post.
The game's over, They've dominated this quarter.
Just under 2 minutes to go before quarter time. Neither ruckman take it on the bounce. Libber gives it to Trelaw before he's collected to Bontempelli. What a trio in the midfield. Wheels around, spares the pass. Can't hit up a teammate. Waitman's there scurrying. So too is McNeil. McNeil has got May for company. And then
Libber,
a tackle.
right after him.
Libber tackling Woden over the boundary line.
That's it. When you ask the question who started the fight, well, Libber's got every right to, because he's out there tackling and winning contested possessions. Clayton Oliver's had 4 broken tackles against him. He needs to just concentrate on the footy, not starting fights, Oliver.
Boundary throw in left forward pocket here for the Dogs. Gawn gives it straight down to Williams. And then Ugle-Hagan breaks a tackle from Sparrow, pokes it into the pocket over the head of Richards, can't control it. Another boundary throw in, but they crawl closer to goal.
Tim Hodges on the boundary, some running repairs for Clayton Oliver. Seems to be okay. Clary in the front row alongside Jake Lever. The ball's set to be thrown in. The Bulldogs in the left forward pocket. Gawn just whacks it towards the boundary line. Ugle-Hagan read it best. He's first there. Can't take it cleanly, though. Fights against Jack Viney for the footy. Viney wins. Hand pass to Sparrow. Kicks up towards Petty, who takes the chest mark. In front of Rory Lobb at right half back. The Bulldogs 4-7-31 to Melbourne 1-1-7. Closing in on quarter time. Harrison Petty kicks up towards half forward. Melcham wrestling with Karmas. Fritsch in from the side. Spills to the front. Melcham kicks towards the 50. Bontempelli racing back. Comfortably takes the mark at half back. The Bulldog skipper.
The text message before said Bont would get 40 touches, didn't it? I think that's going to be proven correct.
This is number 11. Norton launches as he kicks to where the benches are and it rolls over. Boundary throwing right in front of the Dogs bench where Darcy and West are having a rest. Be the early 2000s saying that, couldn't it? Twirling ball back in play. English straight down to Williams, tackled by Pickett. Haven't called Kasaya too much so far.
He comes up to these stoppages virtually every time and he gets closed in if you've got a good...
In the air, Gawn straight down to Viney, but the kick was smothered. Williams picks it up. He just bangs it longs. Oh, it was a fumble here from McDonald. Pouncing on it is Norton, but under pressure, the left foot snap is out of bounds on the fall. That'll do us for quarter time. The Doggies lead it by 24 points, 4-7-31. Melbourne 1-1-7. The goals to Norton, Waitman, Williams and Bontempelli, and for the D's, just one goal in that quarter to Fritsch. But really the story of that opening term is 11 scoring shots to 2. It was played all at the northern end of the stadium under the closed roof in front of about 25,000 here this evening.
It's a good pick-up, Kel. Cosy Pickett had just the one disposal in that opening quarter. The clearance is comfortably the way of the Dogs, 14-3. And the inside 50 is also the way of the Doggies, 22-7. So quarter time, the Western Bulldogs leading by 24 points. Still to come from Perth, the West Coast Eagles and the Gold Coast Suns. A doubleheader for Friday night footy on ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kick in from the D's. It's been a free kick. It's going the way of Waitman and he just dabs that pass. He delivers it right into the stomach of Norton, who was on a short, sharp lead in that right forward pocket. 1, 2, 3 steps for Norton. Snap, skies it. It's high and it's accurate.
Dale at half back, almost run down by Chandler. Good kick into the middle of the ground. It opens up play for English. He marks, wanted to give the hand pass off to Garcia. Now he beautifully kicks it laterally and finds Williams inside 50, pretty much directly in front. Bailey Williams looking for the Dogs third. He comes in from just inside 50. It's a beautiful kick off the boot. Sparrow kicks up towards half forward from Melbourne. Belgium knocks it on inside 50. It works. Not pretty. Van Rooyen a centering kick and he finds Bailey Fritsch. Fritsch comes in from directly in front. And the Demons are on the board. Sparrow's hand pass to Langdon, to Rivers, back to Sparrow. They run the gauntlet hard against the boundary. Hand pass missed the intended target. Vandermeer gathers. Hand pass to Bontempelli. The Bulldog skipper wheels onto his left. Fires towards goal. It's a wrestle on the goal line and it gets there.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Quarter time from Docklands. It's the Western Bulldogs who lead by 24 points. Footscray 4-7-31 to the Demons at 1-1-7. Matt Lynch and Kelly Underwood calling the action. Tim Hodges down on the boundary. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling, your experts on ABC Sport.
A dominant performance by the D's in that quarter there. They just smashed them in the contested possessions right from the start of the game. And from there, they were linking up. Their handball was just superb, Mick, the way that they were able to swarm through the middle, win it, and then just went bang, 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 quick hands. And the only reason right now that we're sitting here at Docklands with the game not completely done and dusted is simply the fact that there was, what would you say, two hit the post and a couple of inaccurate shots. Otherwise, this game's over. It was complete domination there by the Dogs in that first quarter.
Oh, absolutely. And just to the point, I've got to come off my seat now and look at these stats.
Come and have a look.
I never had to do this in the last couple of years, so that shows my glasses are deteriorated or my eyes have, one or the other.
Can I ask you about one in particular, given you come alongside me? Clayton Oliver's had 5 disposals, 1 kick, 4 hand passes.
Yeah, because he's been pressured. And the other thing about Clayton Oliver I noticed over his journey is when he's confident, he kicks the football. When he's not confident or when he lacks a bit of confidence, he hand passes the football. And the other thing is, at the moment, I think Lingy's nailed it on the head, his work ethic is not great and there's no doubt his pre-season was horrible. So therefore he's not able to break away and use the football. So he gets caught in 5 or 6 yards of contact. So therefore he's forced to hand pass. And that's telling because right now they've gone 1,200 metres to Melbourne's nearly 1,700 metres, and that is a smashing to quarter time. 104 to 68, Lingy.
And Mick, on Oliver, just quickly, as you know, like when you lose that confidence and you wouldn't say that Clayton Oliver's lightning fast to start with.
No.
So when you lose the confidence, the one thing you're scared of is getting run down, is getting caught, being made to look a little silly because you get caught with it. So you just get rid of it. You just try and take that element away from you. So give a quick handball. Doesn't matter the fact that other player you might be giving the ball to is under enormous pressure. It's just, there you go, you have it. I'll let you have it. And you get it out of your hands as fast as you can. And unfortunately, that then leads to more pressure on your teammate. Ball turns over, and Marcus Bontempelli and Libba and Treloar are just swarming all over it. And Bontempelli, again, it feels like we say this every week, but there's a reason why he's the very best. 11 disposals, 4 contested possessions, which is great. But then it's 5 inside 50s as well, and 5 tackles. I mean, talk about the all-round balanced midfield game. We were singing the praises of Scott Pendlebury in the pre-match.
Same sort of movements.
Yeah, when Pendlebury was at his prime and his peak, he'd work both ways.
Yeah.
And he'd get clearances and he'd get the contest, but he'd also get the ball inside forward 50. He'd also work back and lay a tackle. The balance is just brilliant by the Dogs skipper.
How look at the clearances, Lingy?
Yeah.
13
to 4.
And that's the Dogs' way, and it's more than 13 and 4. It's the ability to actually use the ball from the break, because sometimes that doesn't happen. It's just a mongrel kick, but the Dogs players are finding so much space around the stoppage.
I can't actually believe they're just continuing to put the same players in there at Melbourne.
Well, maybe they haven't got anyone else. Maybe they're challenged. Look,
but put Cozzy in there.
Yeah.
Like, don't have him as a forward coming up.
Yeah, they quite often do that, don't
Play
they?
him in there.
Yeah.
He only touched the ball once in the first quarter. So 11 scoring shots at 2 on the SMS 0437 774 774. Georgie and Glenn Huntley. D's just horrible. Lucky Dogs haven't kicked straight. Hi team, Stanford Victoria. Come on D's, is Kel deserting the ship for the Olympics? No, everyone who's gone to the Olympics is gone. I'm not letting Kel go anywhere. Second quarter underway. The Bulldogs by 24 points. A free kick in the middle of the ground. It's going Clayton Oliver's way. So we'll get a second kick here. As he hand passes it in front of Tom Liberatore. Keeps a high ball inside 50. Have a fly at that. Van Rooyen sets himself. Lob makes the spoil. And it's locked up as Bramble is tackled by Tholstrup. Just inside the attacking 50 for the Demons. Bulldogs by 24.
Gone straight down to Sparrow. Long kick, top of the goal square, Jones. In a 2-on-2 in the pack, he round at best. Wants to play on risky with hands to Bontempelli, to Dale, to Richards, all by hand. Here's this 2016 happy handball team again. They might have overpossessed it. Richards found himself in a spot of bother, and that's why Mick Malthouse loves him at the moment, because he kept his composure and he was able to hit up Bailey Dale right on the boundary line. Dale tried to get it to Liberatore. Crucial little hand in there. Comes the way of Oliver to Bowie. And now trying to dance his way a couple of players is Moniz Wakefield. 50-50 ball. He had it. He lost it. It's picked up by Richards again. And the umpire says it'll be a free kick to the Dogs.
Holding the ball.
Going to Liberatore.
Yeah, it's against Oliver. Great tackle by Libba.
So Tom Liberatore centre wing on the City side. Bulldogs by 24 points. 90 seconds into the second quarter. Just lobs a kick in the direction of English. In front, Sparrow makes the spoil with support from Gawn. It stays in play momentarily. Poulter lays the tackle on Moniz Wakefield. It spills out Bowie's way. His hand pass is taken over the boundary line by Cody Wakeman. And a boundary throw in 55 metres out from the Dogs' goal.
Gawn's winning a lot of first tap but Melbourne just don't seem to be able to clear the ball. And he's put them in a pretty good spot, but they're really closing that area down, the Dogs.
Thrown in. Gawn wins down the tap against English, but Richards is waiting underneath. He's tackled immediately.
His next one will come over his right shoulder, and this is where Bontempelli will come in and close it down.
Tossed up, half forward here for the Dogs. English wins it, and then gets it to Bontempelli. A high up and under. Setting himself bravely. There was McNeil with the leap. And the quick kick by the Demons. Now Lobb, got to watch it. He grabbed it. Petty was after him. He handballs to Jones. Handballs to Lobb. They've overpossessed it. Haven't got themselves out of strife yet. Here's Caulfield getting involved. And it'll go over the boundary line for the Western Bulldogs. It's on the City side. Good to see Nick Caulfield back on the side. He's had lots of injuries.
Thrown up, Gawn took it out of the ruck, but hand passes straight to Bontempelli. The Bulldog skipper kicks up towards Darcy, can't take the mark as Stephen May makes the spoil.
It's the first time I've seen this side work together, Lobb and Jones. They've almost automatically glued together. That is, you can just see the chemistry work there, Lingy. It's fantastic for the Dogs.
You just wonder, having played as a forward, Rory Lobb, maybe he's enjoying that sort of leadership around him. Telling him how to defend and what place to stand in the structure. Free kick Melbourne's way, and Max Gawn is going to take it. Like Tim English.
Pair of synchronised divers, aren't they?
Well, the best backs are always fail forwards.
So they're successful in their work as opposed to some of the other stories as Langdon comes back inboard for Melbourne. Mark is taken by Jake Lever. Rob's on the same line as you. Kel from Greensborough. Footy on the radio, Olympics on the TV, homemade pizza and a glass of red. What a great way to spend your Friday night.
I'll be around in 10.
It's great. Can't hang on to the mark. He's locked up at half forward for the Demons. Of course, the Boomers in action as well, up against Greece tonight. We'll try and give you regular updates. The Bulldogs by 24 points from the stoppage. It spills out Richards' way. Can't get a hand pass away. Liberatore tries to put the block on, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. Centre wing on the City side. Dogs by 24 points. Here's Kelly Underwood.
Ball's been camped on that City side. English straight down to Libber. He's caught by Sparrow. Spills the way of Langdon. Gets a kick away and a free kick. It'll go the way of the Demons. Taking it will be Chandler. Duray just a little bit too keen there. So a free kick. Chandler's got it at half forward. He wedges it, puts it up in the air, and he's looking for Gawn. The skipper rises high. And when he rises high and he's got his hands at full tilt, no one can get anywhere near the Sherrin.
Well done, Max Gawn. He worked over Tim English.
Absolutely did.
You called it, Cal, before. The ball had been camped over that wing. Stoppage after stoppage. He'd been wrestling with English and then just took off as soon as it went forward. English about 10 metres off. Gawn drifts across and straight away English just bent over, sucking in the big ones. He knew he'd been worked over then.
25 metres out directly in front. Shouldn't be a problem, but it's Max Gawn. It's through. And they get the first of the second term and they eat into the margin. They're back within 3 goals. The Doggies 4-7-31, Melbourne 2-1-13. The margin is 18 points.
Well, they look a different team at the moment. More switched on. When I say totally switched on, more switched on. The clearance work, again, this is the thing I said pre-match, was interesting to see how English goes against Gawn. Right now, English has done okay, but Gawn's certainly got his hand to far more. And that there, English got found out badly by taking the wrong line.
And the good thing about, when you say more switched on, Mick, too, Melbourne comfortable with having 5 or 6 stoppages in a row.
Yeah.
Don't have to win it. Just make sure the Dogs don't fly out of those stoppages and link up with their handball. Just be prepared to be in an arm wrestle for a little bit.
Cameron Ling and Mick Malthouse with you on ABC Sports. Sparrow gets the clearance of Melbourne, kicks them inside 50 once more. Petty leads the foot race, although Lobb did well, just worked him out underneath it. Gets the hand pass forward to halfback. Ed Langdon for Melbourne, back up the City wing. Hand pass to Jake Lever, drives a right-footed kick inside 50. Van Rooyen's wrestling, it won't get to him. Caulfield was positioned in front and he takes the mark. In fact, the free kick might go against Van Rooyen in his hold on Liam Jones. So the experienced Bulldogs defender goes short to Dale. In the right back pocket for the Doggies. Footscray by 18 points. Dale called to play on. Tholstrup comes charging at him. Around the boundary line to Bailey Williams, who takes the mark. 7 minutes gone, second quarter. Bulldogs by 18 points. Bailey Williams kicks up the wing. Max Gawn is waiting for it. Oliver puts the block on. May spoils his own teammate Gawn. Gives the hand pass to McVie. A comedy of errors. Liberatore gets a hand pass forward to Vandermeer. Links up with West. Inside 50. One-on-one. The kick towards Norton and McDonald. McDonald makes the spoil. Great work from the Melbourne defender. Races back after it. Norton lays the tackle. Vandermeer comes racing in. The reinforcements arrive. House gets a hand pass to Melbourne. To Bowie. Hand pass to Sparrow. And now to Oliver. And the Demons are out of defence.
Oh, momentarily he was looking for May, closing late with the fist, trying to go for the spoil was Bontempelli, but May's got such strong hands. He wrapped those big hands around the Sharon. Well done, Tom McDonald, stopped an almost certain mark and goal. Now May's kick was to a one-on-one. He was looking for Woden, but working his way in front was Bailey Williams, and he's been paid the free. So Williams short to Treloar. Treloar into the right forward pocket, looking for Ugle-Hagan. He rises, well done by Lever, coming across late and seeing it over the boundary line.
This is the second time inside 50. We've gone nearly 6 minutes of actual time, so the D's have done well defensively to hold the Dogs out. And the Dogs continually go to the pocket, so it's very interesting ploy. It's a defensive mechanism at the best.
Actually had more inside 50s. Melbourne 4-2 after only just 9 in the first quarter. Hand pass to Treloar in game 250. Adam Treloar celebrating the occasion, and his Bulldog teammates were with him as well. The hard-working, determined Adam Treloar, always trying to get the best out of himself and his teammates. And what a moment to savour as he received the hand pass from Marcus Bontempelli, and the Bulldogs captain turning provider. The Bulldogs with their first goal of the second quarter to restore a 24-point advantage. Footscray 5-7-37 to Melbourne 2-1-13.
So that edit is going to appear in both teams' meetings on Monday.
One's a very big green tick and one's a red cross.
Absolutely. The setup with Liberatore in at the coalface, little give to Bontempelli, flick to the outside of Treloar. However, Melbourne let Treloar stand at the stoppage completely by himself. They let Bontempelli drift through the stoppage with nobody near him, and they all went to Libba, and Libba's good enough to get his hands free.
English stomps it about 20 metres. Oh, Richards takes it out of the air, dribbles the kick. It's a bouncing ball. It clean bowls Ugle-Hagan. Putting his body on the line down there was Vandermeer. He ended up landing on his backside, and then English and Gawn tussle in the centre of the field, and it's Gawn that's been taken the
that is not 50 metres umpire.
English, and meanwhile whizzing by was Liberatore and Oliver, who stopped and pushed and pushed and pushed.
That's not 50.
That is in the contest.
It's a great mark by Max Gawn. Pump up the fact it's an outstanding mark by Gawn, but Tim English is entitled to contest the mark.
Gawn going back with the flight, and English went the spoil coming the other way and just got him across just grazed the nose.
In the marking contest, though, and that's just more of a pump up for how good it was from Gawn. Doesn't make it a 50.
These are the four best umpires.
So
Brett
Max,
Rosebery
from centre half forward, right on 50. He puts plenty of air in it. It's going to fall short. Can they get a mark on the line? They can't. They see it over.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's clear as day. You say if Gawn had dropped that, it was still going to be a free kick. No worries at all.
Yeah.
But when it happens at the exact same time, that's not a 50.
You've got to give the players a chance to contest any football. Otherwise, we just mock the game.
Demons deep inside their attacking 50. Throw-in clears Gawn and English at the back. Racing after it, Neil Bullen. Caulfield lays the tackle. Squeeze the kick out to Cozzy Pickett, who marks against the boundary line in the right forward pocket. Hasn't had a lot of the footy throughout the match. Possession number 2 coming up.
Well, he's good enough to kick this too.
Yeah, but on that possession thing, when you're struggling, put your best players where the footy is sometimes. Just let him get going a little bit around the ball.
Deep in the right forward pocket. He's going to go to the banana, trying to provide the spark for the Demons. Oh, that made it look so easy, as only he can. Keziah Pickett with a dagger from the right forward pocket. And the Demons with 2-1 in this second quarter to pull it back to an 18-point ball game. Footscray 5-7-37 to Melbourne 3-1-19. Ahead of Mick and Ling, Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Clinchy, just keeping an eye. The doctor has been twice out to Stephen May crunch before in that big contest. He is very sore with that hip. I just wanted to get Lingy to keep an eye on Jack Viney. He's got a heap of strapping on that left knee, just labouring at the moment. So they've got Oliver, who's obviously horribly out of form, and Viney, who's just struggling to keep up right now. So they've got their issues, the Demons, in that midfield.
Yeah, he just can't get across the ground, Hodgie. It's a good pickup, and you never question Jack Viney's heart and his will to want to get to the contest. But starting at half forward now, because you just can't get the spread when you got the likes of Bontempelli and Ed Richards through the middle, who just take off. Viney's just getting left behind a little bit.
3 disposals for Viney. Oliver's had the 8. Gawn leads with 10. And back in the centre, Richards with the first kick out of there, high up and under to centre half forward. And Norton missed it, so did his direct opponent in Tom McDonald. Had it momentarily, Vandermeer, and then he lost it. It's slapped down by Tholstrup. The Dogs pounce, and they quickly turn it over. A spearing pass from Vandermeer. Get down low was Ugle-Hagan, and he marks in front of May.
Beautiful kick by Vandermeer. Stephen May just brought back a metre or two. They're trying to argue with the umpire as to where the mark should be positioned.
So Ugle-Hagan.
No run up at all, has he?
4 last week, 4 the week before, 4 the week before that. Off 2 steps, Mick, and he's missing, spraying it to the right-hand side. Hasn't got his kicking boots on yet tonight.
It's interesting just looking at those stats. Virtually half the players on both sides haven't touched the ball this quarter, and yet we've gone almost 9/20ths, which is quite remarkable.
Doggies by 19.
He's kicked 4 goals in each of his previous 3 games, Jamari Ugle-Hagan. As Tom McDonald kicks a long ball up towards half-back for the Demons. Scrapping for it is Melchin, but Richards works his way to the front. Dribbles a kick up towards Norton. It clears him and the Melbourne defence. It bounces off Waitman. Van Rooyen's back in defence for the Demons. Hand pass to Jack Viney. A clearing kick up to the City wing, but no one really there for Melbourne. Buku Karmas gathers for the Dogs. Gets the hand pass to Bramble at left half forward. Inside 50, Waitman the target. Lever makes the spoil. Howes up against the boundary. Hand pass to Lever for Melbourne. Tries to sidestep. Poulter steps over the boundary line. I've done that deliberately in the end, and happy for the umpire to say throw it in. The Bulldogs by 19 points. 14 minutes gone. Second quarter on ABC Sport.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go for Melbourne when it's trapped down there.
And Dogs have got no spare players behind the ball, so this is just one-on-one football, basically.
So Darcy Van Rooyen, neither can really affect it in the ruck. Comes the way of Poulter to Bontempelli, who turns around and kicks to Jamara. Coming out like a steam train. He got a bit of separation on his opponent finally. And beautiful spotting by Bontempelli. Ugle-Hagan takes the mark right in front of his eyes.
Any chance they're going to allow the umpires to give 4 Brownlow votes tonight to Marcus Bontempelli? Like, this is better than best on ground from Bont right now. He destroyed the first quarter. He should cut above everyone.
Missed the first, missed the second, directly in front. He celebrates as soon as the Sharon strikes his orange boot. Didn't need for it to cross the line. He's a sharpshooter after a couple of early wobbles. And back out by 25 points, the Dogs. 6-8-44. The Demons 3-1-19.
They just can't sustain it at all through the middle of the ground, the Demons. When the ball gets into repeat contests and a few spreads and a little bit of a transition play, the Dogs are just working over to the next one, joining in. Marcus Bontempelli's in total control of this game, but Ed Richards has been superb. Libby's doing what he does best, which is the hard in and under. Treloar's spreading. There's support everywhere.
Pickett's in the middle now.
Yeah, finally Pickett's in the middle.
So you'll give them speed outside, whether they can lay their... Because you're right, Viney really is struggling a bit.
Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling, Matt Clinch, Kelly Underwood, Tim Hodges with you for Friday Night Footy. Back in the middle of the ground. A chance for Garcia for the Bulldogs. Hand pass back to Dale. They get the clearance out to the wing for Poulter. Now Adam Treloar in game 250. Cuts back on his right. Chips it to Libber, who kept running. He gets the hand pass to Poulter. Beautifully in rhythm. They kick along the turf towards Ugle-Hagan. It clears him. House under the pressure of Garcia. Gets it back to Stephen May. High clearing kick. Underneath it, Dale. Tholstrup did well to work him underneath. It's Treloar's hand pass to Buku Karmas, which missed him, which now relies the defender to slide in, try and win the footy as Petty locks him up. And a ball up on the City wing.
So that centre bounce then was the perfect example of what we're talking about. So Treloar spread on Viney and got well away from him. and Libba spread on Oliver, and Oliver couldn't go with him.
Oh, English into space at that ball up, and Treloar runs onto it. Handballs to Poulter, who goes long. Oh, wonderful mark by Darcy at half forward. Spins, kicks quickly, tries to keep the D's defence snapping, and they've given away a free as a result. He's furious with that, is Tom McDonald, and it's going to Vandermeer.
Not sure. If he got him over the shoulder, I can't see that. He may have, but
Tom McDonald doesn't think so.
No, you've got to be able to spoil the ball.
Can I say though, no, anyone who ever got a 50-metre penalty paid against them for that demonstrative reaction to the umpire, they should feel very hard done by.
Remember Jordan Nagoes? And it came off. He was so confused. So Vandermeer's lining up for goal, directly in front. He puts it out to the right, and it stays in. Bowie goes on the outside of the boot. Williams picks it off. They're going to come back inside 50 again. Almost a mark to Ugle-Hagan. Oh. And that's good defence by the youngster, Moniz Wakefield. Or was that a free, Lingy?
If Tom McDonald's one's a free, that is the most certain free kick I've ever seen.
Well, that's what Jamara agrees with you. He's talking to the umpire as well. Maybe not as demonstrative as Tom McDonald.
He tackled him to the ground in the spoil.
That might have been a square up. Even Jamara can see the funny side of it as he adjusts his red collar. Now freaking in the ruck for a throw in, and it's going to
Well, that had to be. Big Max has just shoved him straight out of the way. So English did the right thing, got in front, because Max Gawn loves to run onto the ball. If you stand in front of him, he's virtually got to go through you. So just pushed him straight in the back, Max. You can put your hands over like a little boy in the back of the class, but you pushed him straight in the back.
Yep. Right hand straight in the middle of the numbers as he shoved him right underneath the umpire, put his hands over his mouth to not say anything. And Tim English might get the last say out to the right, just inside 50. The Footscray ruckman fires on goal. It's out to the left and it won't work back. The Doggies by 26 points, 19 minutes gone, second quarter. Just repeating, still to come from Perth, getting underway in around 20 minutes' time. The West Coast Eagles and the Gold Coast Suns.
Oh, mate, his kick-in's gone straight to Poulter. He couldn't take it in the air. And he handballs once he was able to trap it to Ugle-Hagan, who's tackled over the boundary line.
Stephen May can have games like this. Once or twice a year, where he's kicking, you wonder what he's doing. When he tried to take that mark with Max Gawn down in here.
Clean Max up. Well, in fairness to him there, he had 2 free targets. Just the Footscray, I'm going to say it tonight.
Yes, you are.
He read the ball beautifully.
Gawn on the boundary throw-in has tapped it straight to English. English's handball, though, couldn't find a target, and now they pile in a tangle of arms and legs. It'll be a ball up right on the arc, right on 50 here for the Dogs. They're pressing, doing all the attacking, leading by 26 points.
Gawn wins the tap against English down to Viney. His kick is smothered. Treloar wrestles for the footy. Viney as well. Eventually it comes clear and Oliver goes, give me a go as he tries to spin through traffic. Now it's Libba's turn. It's a contest battle. And Liberatore is brought down, unable to break away from the clearance. Trent Rivers locked him up. So the Demons that did well in this early stage of the second quarter, but once more it's 10-5, the inside 50s, the Dogs way in this quarter. Dale tries to get a hand pass to English, chopped off as he's tackled, holding the ball. And Melbourne will take the free kick. Ed Langdon rewarded for his tackle. Now right half back, turns and comes inboard to Lever. Don't think that was 15.
No way.
That gets the benefit of the doubt. The Bulldogs by 26 points as he switches it, looking for May. Darcy in from the side, spoils it down. Moniz Wakefield for the Demons. At left half back, kicks wide to Woden.
So Woden just a few metres away from the D's bench. Undecided, so just loops it straight down. Jones with the spoil, straight into Buku Khamis, who's tackled by 3 Demons players.
That's the way to take it too. You know you're going to get hit, so you might as well get in the air, wrap the ball up, and really don't lose the football. Let them
Make sure it doesn't pop out.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so ball up in front of the interchange gates. Socket off the turf by Treloar. Ricochets the way of Sparrow. He gives it over to Chandler. A fresh air kick. Now Dale gets involved. Handballs to Duray, and he's set upon.
An exact same example there too. Duray had to take that one over his head and knew the hit was coming. Took it, wrapped it up, didn't fumble. Gets to set his team up now.
Still inside the centre square. Another ball up. English looking for Bontempelli. Claims he was held by Sparrow. He goes to ground. Poulter picks it up. Bangs it long. It's a one-on-one. It's Ugle-Hagan outmarking his opponent in Tom McDonald. And quickly as Ugle-Hagan gets ready to fire for his second, we'll get down to Tim Hodges.
Kel, Stephen May has been on Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He came off the ground. He's had the doctor out to him a couple of times, straight down to the rooms. It's a left hip issue, so looks in a lot of discomfort.
Yep, and it might mean 2 quick goals to his direct opponent. No. On the left, Ugle-Hagan directly in front, 40 metres out, hangs it out to the left. So another misfire for him.
He's kicking like he did a
couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a month or so back, but just really leans back on him.
And no run-up. I know that's his go. But
Dogs by 27.
So 1-3 for Jamara after kicking 4 goals in the last 3 weeks in each of his games. The kick up towards Melcham. Can't take the mark from Woden. Bontempelli at the back. Another disposal for the Bulldogs captain. He's 7th of this second quarter. Bramble, make that 8. Links up with Bontempelli. Now McNeil. He has it between wing and half forward. The kick is too wide for Sam Darcy. And it goes out of bounds on the full. The Bulldogs by 27 points. Marcus Bontempelli up to 19 disposals, 7 contested possessions, 6 inside 50s, 5 tackles, 3 clearances. Tom Sparrow trying to go to him.
And a goal.
Getting nowhere near him. He just cannot go. Bontempelli's in a different class.
So Lever kicks up to the wing. Strong mark. Van Rooyen in front. Marking in front of Buku Khamis.
Khamis has got a little bit... He's got to learn to jump better.
Van Rooyen goes right on the 50. A juggled mark by Fritsch. Launched himself in from the side. Floating. Taking the mark and then plays on quickly. Sparrow's marked it inside that left forward pocket. It'll be paid even though Libba came late, knocked it out of his hands. And a chance here for Sparrow in the left forward pocket at the northern end to put one through and eat into that margin, which is currently 27 points.
Well, important he kicks this, given if he's going to be handed the role of Bontempelli, he's probably not going to be able to stop the Bond. But if he can just pinch a goal or 2 going back the other way...
Going the set snap, the Stevie J style, and it works. Omitted last week, Tom Sparrow back into the side, and he kicks his 5th goal of the season, and they're back within 21 points. So just when it looks like the Dogs are going to put their foot down and blow this out of the park, they continue to get themselves back into the contest. 6-10-46 the Dogs, Melbourne 4-1-25.
That's because of the rhythm of this game, Cal, is... The Dogs are probably, if you were just to pluck a number, they're 8 goals better right now. But the scoreboard, given it 6 goals 10, means that it is only the 21 points. So Melbourne, for as bad as they've played and how much they've been outplayed, they've fined 1 before half-time.
6 times in 3 goals.
Yeah, find that 1 goal. Don't let the Dogs score again and then calmly try and work through a few things at half-time. They at least give themselves a chance. In a half of footy, they've been completely outplayed.
Cameron Ling and Mick Malthouse with you on ABC Sport. They have addressed their pressure, Melbourne, though, in this second quarter, over 200. And 20-7 the tackles Melbourne's way in this second term. Corn wins down the tap from the throw-up against English. Langdon gathers, maybe a chance to go inside 50 once more. Fritsch comes charging out, there's space. Caulfield might have got in his back, no. Play on Sakul. Gathered by Bramble for the Dogs on half-back. Hand pass to Liberatore. Links up with Dale. Left half-back. Tries to thread the needle to Richards. He marks centre wing on the City side. Hand pass to Bontempelli, who's doing as he pleases. Kicks long towards Darcy. Up against 2. Howes makes the spoil. Down to Lever. Short kick to McVie. Not 15. Poulter. Bontempelli almost bring him down. Spills out to Waitman. Hand pass to Richards on 40. He swings onto his left and misses to the left-hand side. The Dogs by 22 points, but they've kicked 2 goals 4 in this second quarter. The Melbourne's 3 straight.
McDonald brings the kick in, goes short to Gawn.
Max always likes his first kick. I'm not sure the first kick is what... this is...
He shorts it to Lever.
Yeah, well, we've got 3 now in a row, so that's good play by Melbourne, getting the ball through that line.
Goes short to Oliver. Oliver kicks it up. He wants Melcham, who's playing in front of Khamis, to run and launch, and he does. He takes the mark.
Yeah, Khamis is just too
far out to score is Jake Melcham. Puts it right to the goal square. Who's there playing in front? Lob. Straight down to Waitman. Waitman's clearing kick. It's a bouncing race. Foot race. Who gets there first? Sparrow missed it all. Clean bowled effectively, and then a wonderful tackle applied. Was that Bontempelli? No, it was Liberatore wrapping up the Demons player with a big tackle. Centre half forward here for the D's.
Thrown up, English and Gawn. English wins down the tap, but straight to Rivers. Hand pass over his shoulder. Dale for the Dogs. His hand pass picked off by Neil Bullen. Kicks laterally out, looking for Ed Langdon, the running man, against Poulter. He's tackled. Hand pass to Fritsch. Right half forward. Got away from Caulfield. First time, almost brought down the second. Hand pass to Sparrow. Back to Fritsch. Now a bit more space. Swings onto his left. It's online. Can he clear the goal line? He can. Bailey Fritsch with his second. Becomes the first multiple goal scorer in this match. And the Demons are making inroads. 4 goals to 2-4 in this second quarter. It's the Bulldogs by 16 points. Footscray 6-11-47. Melbourne 5-1-31. 27 minutes gone. Second quarter with Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Well, they're just being more efficient going forward. And I know there was a big scramble then. But what they're finding now, that they're at least finding players in the one-on-one that can actually win the football and give it off to the next player, win their contest, give it off to the next player. In the first quarter, they just didn't win any one-on-ones. The contested football was smashed by the Dogs. Melbourne have evened it up a bit.
They have. This worries me. So they've gone back to Viney, Oliver, Sparrow in the middle. That's the type of combination that's been getting outspread all night. Now, if they win it first here and can get it forward, great. That's a big win. But if it gets to the outside, the Dogs will get them.
Great bounce. Fresh airs by the ruckman. Little flick down was clever to Waitman. Waitman, quick, piercing pass, and Ugelhagen marks it.
Straight into the centre, exactly what you just said, Lingy, and it went to Waitman, who had to turn his body and run with the football, but no one could get to him.
No.
It was a spearing, penetrating, bullet-like pass, and Jamara had to juggle it, but he got it.
The moment it got even just slightly to the outside, the Dogs were onto it. I don't like that combination for Melbourne in the middle of the ground.
1 goal 3 so far for Ugelhagen. He's directly in front, 40 metres out. Better run up, better technique. Bad result again. Missing to the right. That's 1 goal 4 in a half a footy after he kicked 4 last week, the week before and the week before that.
Well, that takes the pressure off Melbourne.
Margin 17 points. Doggies lead it.
They're keeping the Demons in it. 18 scoring shots to 6 as Melbourne through Monet's Waitman, trying to move it from half back up the wing. And it's spoiled out of play.
This is going to sound strange, but 2 minutes to go, just under. If I was Melbourne, I'd play it like we've got a 5-point lead late in the game. Keep possession. Get to half-time with this scoreline.
Bontempelli's going to full forward. Waitman into the middle. He kicks up towards half forward, having beautifully roved it. Lever dropped the mark. McPhee is tackled by Jamara Ugelhagen. It spills out to Ed Richards on the fly from 50. It's on fly to the left. The Dogs continue to be inaccurate. 6-13. 50 to Melbourne 5-1-31. Half an hour gone.
Waitman's done some damage at the stoppages too. He's been in there twice and he's got both of them. One in the centre bounce and one on this boundary.
So Jake Bowie on the kick in, wants to go round the City side, looking for Petty. He's got Karmas there. Handball from Viney was good in congestion to Langdon. A little give and go. He gets it back. Langdon and then delivers down the line for Fritsch. Got rid of his opponent beautifully in lob. Spins around, delivers. Couldn't quite hit up his teammate in Van Rooyen. Rooyen goes to ground, Van Rooyen. And now the Dogs are there. This is West. They're under pressure. It's a bit of a scrap. Ball in dispute right on the 50 here for the D's. Eventually the umpire blows his whistle.
Really good by the D's there.
Yep.
Really, really good. They hunted. Langdon's work rate to get there and lay multiple tackles was outstanding. Terrific work.
Bulldogs by 18 points, closing in on half-time. Van Rooyen and English. English wins down the tap. Liberatore head over the footy. Gets a hand pass back to DeRay. Kicks up to the wing. Ugelhagen comes flying through. Crashes the pack. It ricochets into the middle of the ground. Bontempelli knocks it on and then slaps it forward to the advantage of Norton. He runs into McPhee. Great work from the Melbourne defender. Ugelhagen can't take it cleanly. House to Gawn. Gets the hand pass away to Moniz Wakefield. Kicks up the City wing. Neil Bullen can't take the mark. Bramble careful not to give away the free kick. It gathers. Hand pass to Lobb. Beautiful off a step. Kick to Bontempelli. He dropped the chest mark. He is human. Tries to get the hand pass away. There's nowhere to go for Poulter. As Moniz Wakefield lays the tackle. Ball up at left half forward for the Demons with the Bulldogs by 18 points.
He's human and exhausted.
Yes, that's the point I left out.
What a half a footy for Bontempelli, leading his Dogs to this 18-point lead as we close in on half-time. They're going inside 50 again. Marking it, though, is McVie, and he's off. Gives it to Tholstrup, gets it back. Little dab of a kick to Petty as their time. Wheels around right on the edge of the centre circle, and the siren beats them. But the Demons full of run as they eat back into this lead. It was 24 points the Dogs led at quarter time after they booted 4 goals to 1. But that quarter belonged to the Demons. And the margin at halftime is 18 points, 6-13-49. The Doggies are keeping the door well and truly open and keeping Melbourne in this game with their inaccurate kicking to Melbourne 5-1-31. A couple of goals for Fritsch, the only multiple goal kicker, Gawn and Pickett. And for the Dogs, Ugle-Hagan has 1 goal, 4. Singles to Treloar, Bontempelli, Williams, Waitman and Norton. Might just get down to Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Kel, just watching Stephen May. So he has returned from the rooms. I thought it was a left hip that he was talking about. The club has confirmed it's actually the ribs that they're worried about most. He has had cracked ribs earlier this year. So you can see him out there now walking off. He's not at all comfortable. This is another query. It seems like we've been querying doctors half the year down here on the boundary, but for what Melbourne's doctors have been through this year, especially when you go back to King's birthday with Christian Petrarca, seems like that's a big gamble to put him back on the field for a guy who has had cracked ribs earlier this year, who copped an almighty whack, whether he's healthy enough to go again in this second half. And look, it's retro round, we know that. I'm sure back in the day when Footscray played at Whitten Oval with Mick coaching, there were rats and mice up in the coach's box. There is one mouse running around the boundary area. Poor old Jackie Reid from a rival radio station is not enjoying life at all. It's causing great grief down here, guys.
Oh, no. Come on, Hodgie.
I'm sure you'd be supportive, Hodgie.
Oh, totally. I'm jumping on the seat as well.
So, a wasteful Bulldogs with 6-13 to Melbourne 5-1. The Doggies having led by 24 points at quarter time, led by 18 at half time. Some quick thoughts from Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling before we bring you the latest from Paris.
And just one other thing to just quickly bring up too, and it's been replayed a few times on the screens in our box. They're just having a little look at Ed Langdon, that late tackle on Tim English, late in the quarter. Just the fact that English's head hit the ground as part of that tackle. I don't know, obviously tackles like that get looked at, but obviously probably more importantly for this game is Tim English, and if he's okay, he'll no doubt get checked out at half-time. He seemed okay, got up fine, so hopefully all good. But just one to note, Mick, a dominant half by the Dogs, but to Melbourne's credit, they scrapped and fought late, and with the scoreline being what it is, they're in this game unbelievably.
Yep.
It should be completely over, but it's not. And when they play with that determination and pressure and scrap and fight, well, they can give themselves a slight chance in this one.
Well, more than a slight chance because they've been efficient in front of goal. 5-1, 6 shots. So they've gone 2 and 4. They're the shots on goal in the first half. So 2 in the first quarter, 4. The Dogs have gone 11 and 8. It's not as if they went to sleep in the second quarter. It's just that they kicked 2 goals, 6 to 4 goals straight, 2-6 to 4 straight. So it gives you a bit of an idea. Inside 50s, again, the Dogs dominated, but you're going to pay a high price when you have a key forward who kicks 2 goals 4.
1-4.
1 goal 4.
Oh, sorry, 1 goal 4. Yeah, second quarter. You kick 1 goal 4, and 3 of them were set shots.
Yeah.
In fact, the others may have been set shots, but certainly 3 were right in front, right in his zone, right in his distance. Nothing about now. Okay, he doesn't go. No one goes out to kick a point, except Barry Breen. So, but and people out there will get that if they're old, but and Barry for St Kilda or Collingwood. But I can't see the Dogs losing it because they've had so much football and the right players are getting the ball, but we've seen stranger things happen, Lingy, where you get a little bit complacent or you get a little bit downhearted on your outcome, and there's no doubt Fritsch is playing some good football. Every time he goes down, he looks dangerous. Ugle-Hagan looks dangerous. Norton doesn't at this stage. Waitman looks dangerous. But you've got to put the score on the board. I mean, our game is played by, at the end of the day, you've got to be in front of your opposition, and 31 points to 49 is not massive. It's a 3 goal.
Yeah.
But if we said it was 2 goals, So if we said it was 1 goal, 12, you'd go, well, hang on, that's 13 shots. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
One is not being effective, the other one is being very effective.
We have to mention Marcus Bontempelli because of his unbelievable performance. He's had 21 disposals, which is incredible in itself, 8 inside 50s, 5 tackles, has kicked a goal, 10 score involvements. They tried to put Tom Sparrow to him in that second quarter. Maybe it's because it's a part of the ground, the midfield, that I obviously care a lot about and take particular notice of, Mick. But I do have to chuckle occasionally when they just say to someone, go and play on this guy, you should be able to shut him down.
Yeah.
In Sparrow's credit, he kicked a goal. He went forward and kicked a goal. That's great. You've got to be able to do that. He had no idea how to go with Bontempelli in that run-with type role. It's not something you can just say to someone.
Neil Bullen has done some form of role like that over the journey.
Exactly right, Mick.
So why not go to someone who's done it?
Who understands how it's done. He's done it on Nick Dacos.
It's interesting, Blingy. I've done an article for the West today, and I've gone through all the clubs and try to work out who was the best tagger going into the final. I haven't bothered with the bottom sides, and in fairness, but
did you put Toby Bedford up there?
Well, actually, no. Remarkably, I haven't found a lot of players that play the role that goes into September and you go, you've got to stop this player. There's been cameos, and Neil Bullen was a cameo. Fife went on to Hewitt, Sydney's...
Gordon, Warner,
Heaney, and did a pretty good job. When the ball spread, he was in a bit of trouble. Chincotta, well, we know the regular ones, but in a game like this, the Dogs' tagging player, to me, is Richards outside, Treloar outside, Liberatore. It's a three-way thing. Liberatore doesn't have to worry about the spread. He just has to go in and hunt.
Yeah.
And then they catch the others on the way out. So it's done with a team.
They seem a very connected midfield. The Western Bulldogs, they lead by 18 points, inaccurate in front of goal, 6-13-49 to Melbourne, 5-1-31. We'll quickly check in with the ABC newsroom and then we'll bring you the latest from Paris.
Tim Wharton with ABC News. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong says the government will continue to press for accountability and any appropriate criminal charges following the death of Australian aid worker Zomi Frankham. The government has released a report by Special Advisor Air Chief Marshal Mark Binskin, who reviewed the Israeli response to the fatal strikes that killed Miss Frankham and 6 other aid workers from World Central Kitchen. Senator Wong has accepted all 7 recommendations and is urging Israel to reform its coordination with humanitarian organisations. US President Joe Biden says the assassination of Hamas's political chief in Iran doesn't help ceasefire negotiations. Ismail Haniyeh was the top Palestinian militant official involved in truce talks with Israel. Iran and Hamas blame Israel for a strike on Wednesday that killed him, but Israel has yet to specifically comment on the attack. The US says it was not involved in his killing, and Mr Biden says he's had discussions with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I'm very concerned about it. I had a very direct meeting with the Prime Minister today, and very direct. We have the basis for a ceasefire. He should move on it, and they should move on it now.
The Fair Work Commission has filed a court application that could see a takeover of national, state and territory branches of the CFMEU. Political reporter Krishani Dungy reports.
Up to 270 union officials could be removed from their roles if the Fair Work Commission successfully appoints an administrator to several CFMEU branches. The administrator would also have the power to control finances and assets in a bid to clean up the troubled organisation. The new Minister for Workplace Relations, Murray Watt, is warning the union not to oppose the move.
This represents the strongest action available to the government.
The intervention was sparked after allegations of links to organised crime.
You're listening to ABC News.
Roy and HG. This medal-winning duo are no strangers to the City of Lights. But, Mosa me, it's not just the Olympic Games. It's the culture, the fashion, the politics, the art, the opera, plus BMX bikes and weightlifting. That's people, medals and cheese daily during the Olympics across the nation, teetering on the brink of joyful chaos on ABC Radio and on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Hand pass to Treloar in game 250. Adam Treloar celebrating the occasion, and his Bulldog teammates were with him as well. Throwing clears Gawn and English at the back. Racing after it, Neil Bullen. Cockfield lays the tackle. Squeeze the kick out to Cozzy Pickett, who marks against the boundary line in the right forward pocket. He's going to go to the banana, trying to provide the spark for the Demons. Oh, that made it look so easy, as only he can.
Darcy Van Rooyen, neither can really affect it in the ruck. Comes the way of Poulter to Bontempelli, who turns around and kicks to Jamara. Coming out like a steam train. He got a bit of separation on his opponent finally. Directly in front, he celebrates as soon as the Sherrin strikes his orange boot.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time from Docklands in Melbourne as round 21 of the AFL kicks off. It's the Western Bulldogs leading Melbourne by 18 points. Footscray 6-13-49 to the Demons 5-1-31. Matt Clinch and Kelly Underwood calling the action. Tim Hodges down on the boundary. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling are your experts. The match has just got underway from Perth between the West Coast Eagles and the Gold Coast Suns. We'll keep you updated with that match throughout the night. And if you want to listen to that, there is coverage on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the AFL Extra button. It's also day 7 of competition of the Olympic Games from Paris. To bring us all the details, ABC Sports, Ned Hall.
Thanks very much, Clinchy. Yep, golden period. This is in the games when you've got the athletics and the swimming overlapping at the moment. So it has been a fairly busy morning. There's also been a medal for Australia, that in the rowing regatta. The women's pair final, Annabelle McIntyre and Jess Morrison picked up the bronze medal there. They'll be delighted to get a medal. The race just got ran down close to the line and come away with bronze. But on the track earlier on today, the men's decathlon is now underway. Ash Maloney and Daniel Golubovich are both competing for Australia there. And in the women's high jump, no great surprise. 2 great medal prospects in Eleanor Patterson and Nicola Olsager go through to the next round there, both doing extremely well, first and second in the different pools they were in. Also, in the women's 100 metres, they were running the heats of that this morning. Bree Masters through. She came third in her heat, ran a season's best. She advances. Unfortunately, though, Ella Connolly came 6th, and so she misses out. While in the pool, they've just had their final event of the morning session in Paris, the 4x100 metre medley relay heats. One of the great events now, the mixed medley relay. Iona Cook, Zach Stubblety-Cook, Emma McKeown and Kyle Chalmers went for Australia. Second fastest through there to the final, just behind the United States. And elsewhere in the pool, in the 100-metre butterfly heats, Matt Temple and Ben Arbruster are also through to the finals later on today. Kaylee McKeown and Ella Ramsey also through in the women's 200-metre IM heats. Kaylee McKeown, though, only 9th fastest. Ramsey was 6th fastest. McKeown could be forgiven for having her attention elsewhere because tomorrow morning, about 4:35 Australian Eastern Standard Time, she goes in the women's 200-metre backstroke final, looking to pull off a double-double. She won the gold in the Tokyo Olympics in the 200-metre backstroke as well as the 100. She's already got the double in the 100 metres. She'll try and complete that later tonight, and that'll be after the men's 50-metre final where Cam McAvoy goes. Another terrific medal prospect in the BMX racing, Saya Sakakibara won all 3 of her heats. She's through to the semi-finals. The semis will be about 4:20 Australian Eastern Time, and she'll go for gold the hour after that. Lauren Reynolds also through, as is Isaac Kennedy in the men's event. And just finally, in the men's windsurfing, Gray Morris is guaranteed a final going into the latter stages. He'll sail to determine what colour medal he picks up later on today. And we've also got plenty of team action. The Kangaroos in the 3x3 basketball have now won 4 in a row. They're on court again at the moment. If they can top the pool, they'll go straight through to the semi-final. We've also got the Kookaburras in action, the Boomers in action, and also the Aussie Stingers in the water polo. Clinchy.
Thank you, Ned, for that comprehensive wrap. Of course, coverage across regional Australia from the Olympic Games in Paris with the ABC Sport team and in capital cities in Adelaide, Canberra, the Northern Territory, Gold Coast and Hobart. And for everyone else, you don't miss out on the Olympics action. Roy and HG, they're back with people, medals and cheese. They're on local radio from 11 a.m. during the Olympics on ABC Sport Digital and via the ABC Listen app, doing what they do best wherever you get your podcasts from. Half-time here at Docklands. It's a comfortable lead for the Western Bulldogs by 18 points. It could be a little bit more with 19 scoring shots to 6. Meanwhile, in Perth, The opening 2 goals of 3 going the way of the West Coast Eagles. 2 straight 12, the Eagles, to the Gold Coast Suns 1 straight 6, with Mac Andrew starting forward for the West Coast Eagles. The other goals have come through Oscar Allen and Jack Darling. In the NRL tonight, round 22 of the National Rugby League. In the earlier match, it was the Parramatta Eels who defeated the Warriors, 30 points to 20. And in the match taking place at the moment, it's approaching half an hour gone. 18-all between South Sydney, the Sydney Roosters, I should say, and the Dolphins in that match of around 22. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Dan says, doggies aren't off the leash yet, but sounds like they might be taking the D's for a walk. Plenty of contributions from you coming through on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Malthouse and Cameron Ling are here. Matt Clinch and Kelly Underwood call the action with Tim Hodges on the boundary. Kel?
I know we were talking about in the pre-match about Scott Pendlebury playing his 400th tomorrow night. I was just having a flick through the record at half-time while you were keeping everyone up to date. Pendlebury on Malthouse is a lovely big double-page spread on Scott Pendlebury. And this is, in his own words, what he thought. I love this. It starts off, Mick was such a big footy figure that as a young bloke, I had genuine fear because I wouldn't know what to say if I bumped into him in the corridor.
What's wrong with that, Kel? Young player.
What did you say to him when you passed him with those dreadlocks?
Dreadlocks, didn't he?
Yeah, he did for a while.
I love the next bit, though, Kel.
Well, he goes on to say he was a master motivator. He also understood I was a different type of player to most in how I played, how I moved, and my laconic game style. Mick didn't try to turn me into something I wasn't. He just let me be me. So that was really good.
And the bit I loved out of it, sorry to keep embarrassing you, Mick, but we're going to do it. I quickly learned how much he cared for us and he made us young guys feel confident. That's the one thing I think the great coaches, and we are embarrassing Mick, so I'll keep doing it, but a Bomber Thompson or a Chris Scott that I experienced, or those great coaches, there is, especially when you're young, a little element of fear. There is a little bit of intimidation to it, and I think the senior coach has to and can hold that position. But then once you break through that and you know that the coach cares for you and really deeply wants the best for you, you'll do anything for them, man. That's the big thing for me, and I think that's what the great coaches get. They understand that for all the stuff that we occasionally see on TV, the shots in the coach's box where they look angry and press conferences that Mick might have got a little feisty.
Oh, yes, I was there, many of them.
You can see that behind closed doors there's a genuine care and love inside there. And now I see why, if Daisy Thomas is in a media box near us, always waves to Mick. Swanee will always say good day, and you can see all those players understood that Mick cared so much for them.
Did you know Mick when the youngsters would work? I mean, I remember, 20-odd years ago, 2005 draft, been here at Docklands. Yep, and I was reporting at the time and interviewing Scotty Pendlebury and Daisy Thomas. And then when they come the next week and walk through and pass you in the corridors, do you know that they are terrified of you?
No, of course you don't, because you want to make them feel as comfortable as you can. That's why I always took them away, Kel, because we'd have our draft, as I said before. You take them away, the main players, and all of a sudden you draft these players and they come in and they go, look, these blokes are just bonded because of the weekend or the 2 weeks you've had them away. So take them away, you try to break down the barrier that you're not, you want them to be who they are and feel comfortable, but also they've got to show, and Lingy will know this, they've got to show respect for the senior players too. There's a couple of young blokes walked in and straight away they want to be part of the main group. Well, all the blokes that have been there for 5, 6 to 10 years, and you go, no,
you've got to earn that.
You've got to earn that. Exactly right.
Can I give a little pump up to the recruiters of the 2005 draft too?
Yes.
They nailed the top 5. Mark Murphy,
yes.
300 games. I think he went on and played at Carlton. Dale Thomas at 2, obviously a superstar. Xavier Ellis, premiership player at Hawthorn. Josh Kennedy went from Carlton to then West Coast and turned into an incredible footballer. And Scott Pendlebury at 5. That's just bang, 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 bang. That's nailing the top 5.
Who's next, Lee?
Bo Dowler, not quite.
Hawthorn?
Went to Hawthorn, and then Paddy Ryder at 7.
Well, Paddy Ryder was a great player.
Yeah.
Great player.
Yep.
Isn't it amazing when you go through and Pendles is still playing? You think, Ryder retired like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I won't round out the top 10. They didn't quite nail them much from there.
Let's get down to Tim Hodges, because I think the D's might have activated their sub, Hodgie.
Yeah, we flagged this, Kelly, just on the strike of half-time that Stephen May was struggling so badly with those ribs. I think the doctors and the medical staff at the Demons have been through enough this year with what they've had earlier in the year with May, and obviously what they had on King's birthday with Christian Petrarca. And Stephen May looks to be out of this game, and Daniel Turner is starting in the back line, who was the sub. So a big move for the second half for Melbourne.
As we get underway with the bounce under the closed roof, the umpire says a free kick, high, free, and it'll go the way of Sparrow, who bangs it long, straight down the corridor he goes, off the hands of the pack. Libba had it, he lost it, fires out a handball. Chance for Fridge, doesn't need too much space, tries to curl it back. Hasn't quite got the distance on it. It's marked on the line by Bailey Williams. So Williams, last line of defence, goes along with the kick. West had to launch himself in the air, couldn't take the mark. Greater second effort. Got up and was able to handball out towards Bontempelli. Had to beat a couple, and he does. He's so hot tonight. And now the quick pass off to Waitman. Goes the banana in the right forward pocket. Cody's got two. End-to-end stuff from the Bulldogs. Coast to coast. Inspired by the Opals and the Aussie Boomers. It was brilliant by the Doggies. And they get the first major after half-time to get out to a 24-point lead again. 7-13-55 to 5-1-31. Tim Hodges.
Kelly, just further on that, the Demons have just confirmed to us that it is ribs that has forced Stephen May to be subbed out of this game. And interestingly, you've been down on the bench plenty of times before, Kelly, that the paramedics have just left their position, which normally means that they're going to take over the care of Stephen May. And I imagine by the end of the night he'll be in a Melbourne hospital having some scans just to see the extent of that. Remember, earlier this year he had 2 cracked ribs. He played in gather round, if you remember, with those 2 cracked ribs. So for someone who's already got an issue with that this season, they're taking every precaution.
Demons have taken plenty of hits this season with Christian Petrarca's season done. Free kick in the middle of the ground. Now Marcus Bontempelli caught one high and gets the free kick. Hand pass to Bailey Dale. Drives it inside 50. Darcy tries to work his way to the front. Lever makes the spoil. It spills back to Darcy. Hand pass to Ugelhagen. 1-4 in the first half. Works it back to Bramble. Flying start from 48. He misses to the left-hand side. And Ed Langdon might have just marked on the behind line.
I reckon they're going to review it, but I reckon he might have marked that one.
Bulldogs by 24 points, just 2 minutes gone in the third term. As we head to the Arc, meanwhile in Perth, it's the West Coast Eagles leading by 5 points, 2-1-13 to the Suns 1-2-8.
Just off that first goal scored, Bontempelli's.
Oh, how clean he was at ground level.
And the fact that the ball wasn't there for him to do it. And get the clean ball out.
Yeah.
It was just extraordinary. For those that didn't watch it, and we're watching this, waiting for this mark or whatever it is, it was just an extraordinary bit of play by a bloke that's in outstanding form and just added on to his half-time 3 votes, if you like, Wingy.
Yep.
Up to 23 disposals for the match, Marcus Bontempelli. The Arca said Ed Langdon controlled the mark before the behind line, so will be paid the mark. Bulldogs leading by 24 points.
Langdon, last line of defence. Brings it round the broadcast side, the dock side. Bontempelli's everywhere. He affects the spoil in the pack. Bramble picked it up, tackled, gets it to Liberatore, off to Dale, flicks it out wide. Heard the voice. Bontempelli involved again. Handballs to Liberatore. They want it more, the Dogs. Richards is involved. Bramble just hacks the kick. Treloar by himself. 15 metres out, 45-degree angle, in the right place at the right time. And he's going to try and put through his second of the night in his 250th.
Sorry, I'm just having a chuckle. Libber is going after Sparrow every chance he can get. Just basically suggesting he's struggling a little bit, keeping up with Libber's skipper.
Well, if Bont doesn't get you, this bloke will. Treloar celebrates with a love heart up to the crowd. His partner and his daughter are here tonight. They ran through the banner with him, and he's got 2. And his wonderful season continues on The margin, this is the biggest margin now of the night. 30 points. 8-13-61, Melbourne 5-1-31.
Fair bit going on off the ball too, Mick.
Yeah. Lingy, a chaos ball, a quick kick in when the ball's been in, been out, been in, been out. Sometimes the back line haven't shaped.
Yep.
Bang.
Yeah.
Treloar finds himself down there. How Treloar finds himself down there. I'm not blaming Melbourne for that. The fact was, though, if he's going to go in the forward line, someone's got to go with him.
He spreads, doesn't he?
Oh.
He don't leave straight away because they've got the other spots all covered. And the quick kick, he ends up in a dangerous spot. Fortuitously ends up in his lap.
Bulldogs by 30 points. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling with you on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Kelly Underwood calling the action. Tim Hodges down on the boundary, back in the middle. Gorman wins out in the tap against English. Here's Treloar after his 2 goals. Another clearance. Kicks up towards Ugelhagen out in front. Turner, the defender, brings it down. It spills back to Ugelhagen. Can't take it cleanly at right half forward. Turner strips him in the tackle. Umpire says he wasn't in possession, and the Bulldogs spearhead will take it at right half forward. 1-4 in the opening half.
He certainly didn't have it, and he's now a magnet.
He looks inside.
Free
50.
kick, sorry,
Comes out on the lead. It's going to be a Waitman free kick in the right forward pocket. He was put down by Tom McDonald, who is he's having some anger management issues after feeling like he got a tough one in the second corner.
What happened to dissent, Lingy? I mean, you raised a great point. That's twice. He's absolutely lost the plot, Tom McDonald.
Well, I think they've given him a 50.
They've given a 50 to Ugelhagen, so he's going to kick a certain goal. But that's from, I think, the free kick.
It is.
So Max Gorns just suggested to Tom McDonald, go have a walk, get away from this environment. As Jamara Ugelhagen is taken to the top of the goal square. Can't miss from here, Kenny. Puts through his second. Finger in the air with his right arm after putting 1 goal 4 in the first half. He now has 2. And the Western Bulldogs have put on 3 goals in 6 minutes to stretch open this game to a 36-point margin. And all of a sudden they are finding the major opening. 9-13-67 to the Demons, 5-1-31. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling on ABC Sport.
And Tom McDonald, while he's walking it off and trying to calm down, maybe check the rule book as well. You can't get a guy in a headlock and throw him to the ground. You got nothing to argue about there. It is as clear a free kick as you like. Look up on the screen. Watch this, Cal. He grabs Waitman by the head and throws him to the ground. It's a free kick. Sorry, Tom.
He's threatening to implode, isn't he?
Yeah.
He really is. So Ugelhagen, he has kicked a goal in every game but one this year. Took a while to warm up tonight. He could really get going in this second half. Back underway in the centre. Oliver tackled by Treloar. It spills away of Williams to English. Wheels around on his right, dabs it to Bontempelli, who plays on. He wants to go quickly, but his handball's gone to Neil Bullen, and then Garcia applies the tackle on Neil Bullen, makes sure they're going nowhere, these Ds. They've been suffocated at the moment to start this second half. Just get the feeling Luke Beveridge might have said something to them at half-time. They've come out breathing fire as Bowie gets the kick away to Neil Bullen, and the Ds are away.
And past to Langdon running the city side wing, back to Neil Bullen, trying to get around Lob. Did well, now needs to get around Williams. The kick is smothered, spills out the way of Garcia. Gets a hand pass away to Williams, to Lob at right half back. The Dogs take back the footy. Treloar looks up the wing, and Ugelhagen has metres on Turner. He takes the mark centre wing on the city side. He veers onto the left with that beautiful laconic sort of style, up towards Waitman, who flies against Tom McDonald. This time he takes the mark. So McDonald gets one back, having conceded the goal moments ago. A little shove on Waitman, be careful.
Oh, Big Tom, he's going to make him earn He's wondering he didn't step all over him.
Tom McDonald shanks the kick up towards Max Gawn, who out in front of Ugelhagen takes the mark at left half back. The Bulldogs by 36 points.
I was going to say that kick by Ugelhagen really was a nothing kick. He had 1v3 Melbourne players, so he should have held the ball.
Liam Jones left his player. He ran 20 metres and he spoiled up over the back of Clayton Oliver, right in front of the Doggies fans. The old Footscray fans sitting on that city wing, and they roared. They loved that spoil. So now the ball spinning back into play. Clears both ruck. English tries to fire out a handball. It wasn't clean. Libba's fighting and scrapping on all fours. Flicks out the side. Richards is there. Happy to keep it, see it over. Another boundary throw in. Let's get down to Hodgie on the boundary.
Just a nice one. Adam Treloar's 250th, Kelly. His best mate, Josh Dunkley, who used to be his teammate at Footscray, He was allowed to come down 24 hours earlier by the Brisbane Lions. Of course, the Lions play the last game of round 21 here at the Docklands Sunday evening, but he's here with the Trelaw camp. We'll have a Lions captain's run tomorrow and join back up with his teammates. Nice gesture by Chris Fagan to give him 24 hours off to come down to Melbourne to see his best mate play.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thanks, Hodgie. Gone one down the tap. Rivers was taken high. He takes the free kick, kicks Melbourne in the middle of the ground. Lever gets the hand pass to Bowie. Inside 50, Sparrow. Not the intended target, but peeled off at the right time. And takes the mark in front of Jake Melcham, directly in front, 45 metres out from goal.
Mick, Adam Kingsley wasn't as kind, or the Giants, to Jack Buckley, who wanted to go over and see his girlfriend compete at the Olympics.
Oh, that's around about the same sort of thing, isn't it? Really?
You wouldn't let him go? Once in a lifetime, your partner's at the Olympics.
I'd be even asking you, you're going to watch it on TV, and that's about as far as you could go.
Tom Sparrow has one already this afternoon. He's had the tough task on Marcus Bontempelli. Can he kick a second here? The Demons need a response. It's a good effort from 50. Sends it sailing straight through the middle. And the Bulldogs lead is cut back to 30 after putting the opening 3 goals in the third term. Footscray 9-13-67 to Melbourne 6-1-37. Kelly, you said the fear Scott Pendlebury had asking Mick Moldhouse. I wonder how... Ed Langdon might have gone asking if he could go to his sister's wedding in Europe.
Yeah.
Would have been a quick answer, Mick.
Well, no, I as far as I let Marty Clark go to his sister's wedding because she's only. I said, how many times are you going to get married, Marty? And he said once. I said, well, you can go because you've got a lot of more games. But
how many times has your partner had the chance to win a medal at the Olympics?
Well, if she's any good, she'll go back again next 4 years down the track. So.
I'm starting to feel like there's a few favourites here, Kel.
I couldn't watch the wedding on TV, Kel. But
Can't believe you're putting a wedding ahead of an Olympic medal.
He can watch on television.
He can get married anytime.
Well, really?
And many times as well. Okay. The Demons looking to settle, but Bailey Dale's got other ideas, and his big spoil goes over the boundary line, half forward here for Melbourne. Right in front of Tim Hodges.
Cal, I like when Mick's picking on you because he's leaving me alone. So
don't be a sook. Don't be such a sook.
Oh God, he's got us both.
I would have kept my mouth shut, Hodgie. He'll turn back on you.
Doggies by 30 points. We've gone 12 minutes in this third term. Big shove in the ruck. Van Rooyen goes to ground. Umpire says it'll be a free kick. So Dogs have come out firing 3-1 in this third term. They led it by 24 at quarter time, by 18 at half time. Kick down the line. Petty in front. Takes the mark in front of Rory Lobb. Wants to play quickly, and he's kicked that straight to the opposition in Paul Tuck. Gets back, plugs the hole. Takes a relieving, uncontested mark.
Chips it out to Sam Darcy. Western Bulldogs by 30 points. Hand pass to Richards. Up the wing looking for Bontempelli. Timing his leap well with Sparrow. He slaps it out of play. And a boundary throw in Perth. The Gold Coast Suns have hit the lead. 2-3-15 to the West Coast Eagles 2-2-14. Take you to Perth at the completion of this match. The Suns looking for their first away win of the season. The West Coast Eagles looking for their first win under caretaker coach Jared Schofield.
Important game, that one for the Suns, Clinchy.
Thrown back in. Van Rooyen over the top. Gets the hand pass to Tholstrup. The kick up the wing. No mark taken, but Pickett's providing the pressure on Bramble. Got it to Neil Bullen. Hand pass to Petty. Sidesteps to Ray. Hand pass to Tholstrup. Trying to get it to Fritsch at the back. It won't reach in. And Buku Karmas takes the mark. Thought about playing on. Quickly back behind his mark. He switches to the right back pocket, and Riley West takes the mark.
Shorts it to Richards, who's got plenty of space. And he flicks it wide by foot to Williams. Gives the handball off to Bramble. They've got plenty of run about them at the moment. A bounce. And then goes short to Norton. Too far out to score. Wheels around on the left. Here they go. End-to-end stuff. A high ball. Bontempelli! He is just a class above.
Well, that was always going to happen, wasn't it? Once you get locked out like that. Just for those that are just listening, it was a high ball coming in. Ugal Hayden, I'll wait for him to kick the goal.
And he will. And he celebrates Buddy-esque style with both arms outstretched. He turns to the crowd. We don't see that often. But he knows he is enjoying his footy. 25 disposals now. More touches than anyone on the park. And he's kicked 2 goals. This captain, he just keeps getting better and better. Can we give him the Brownlow now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope he wins it. I know I'm not supposed to have favourites, but
No.
I feel like
same here,
his level of play over the last few years has been so high, he deserves one.
I reckon every player would be saying this, every supporter. That ball came in and it looked like Ugelhagen, and he's a man, and Bontempelli just stood off a little bit, and then just a little nudge on his man was a Sparrow, and then just jumps in front of the pack, or in front of those two players that were wrestling for it.
And you can see comfort under the high footy. Sparrow didn't have any. Turned, looked for his opponent, and Bontempelli had eyes on the ball, used his body, then at it. Great play.
Look for your opponent. You're dead in the water, aren't you, really?
27 disposals, 2 goals, 12 score involvements. He's doing it all, the Bulldogs captain, as he comes to the bench for a breather. Sam Darcy having a run in the ruck. The second ball up against Gawn. It spills down Oliver's way. Hand pass to Viney. He's surrounded as he tries to squeeze a kick forward. It's West who gets the hand pass to Poulter, and he's locked up with Tholstrup and Oliver. Still in the middle of Docklands. The Bulldogs by 36 points. They booted 4 goals in this second quarter. Melbourne's won. There's a chance for Garcia for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Poulter. Out on the Docks wing. Hand pass to Vandermeer. Trying to put it out in front of Liberatore. He tangles with Jack Viney. The two hard nuts wrestle for the footy, and the umpire says, give it to me.
Just having a look at the goal kickers now for the Doggies. So Jamara has 39. Bontempelli 6. Ahead now of Norton and Darcy. He's kicked 28 for the season. So Norton's got 27, Darcy's got 26, so he's the second leading goal kicker, Mick.
Yeah. And a fair few of those are from the midfield too, Kel.
So they're worth more.
Oh,
Hashtag going Bont for Brownlow, I reckon.
6 points.
So his career best is 31 goals, Marcus Bontempelli, back in 2021. You think he'll pass that, won't he?
Yeah. Another stoppage here. Right near the boundary line. Kick from the Demons out of the congestion. Buku Karmas goes at it twice, and then Duray is tackled over the boundary line. Umpire says it'll be a boundary throw-in right in front of the D's bench.
You know what Melbourne have got to stop doing? Cheap little after the play pushes, and little hits. Why don't do it when the ball's there?
And also when you're in front.
Yeah.
Gawn in the wrap against Darcy, slaps it over the boundary line, so we'll go again.
The Melbourne team that won a premiership, and the Melbourne team that had opposition teams fearing them, was the one who put their head over the footy and were just relentless in their contested footy, relentless in their pressure. That was just a great team. This is a little bit of cheap stuff these days.
Gawn down to Oliver, played for the free, gets it against Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia trailed him in. You can't afford to, if you're going to tag like that, you block so he can't get the run onto the football.
It hasn't been the Oliver of old tonight, although he hasn't been the only demon. He looks for Van Rooyen, Pickett off his hands, great smother. That was a brilliant smother by Liam Jones, and in the defensive goal square, Williams has got it. High kick, tries to get it aimed out of the danger zone. Vandermeer in a real wrestle with Moniz Wakefield. The young gun does well. Pickett comes in, offers some support, wheels around, and Fritsch marks it. He's been paid the mark. 25 metres out, but a step or two from the boundary line in the left forward pocket.
Well done, Cozzy Pickett. Just kept the ball alive, and then beautiful use on the left foot. Got it to his teammates' advantage, and Bailey Fritsch had to stand under that one. Credit to him. Bulldogs player Bramble, was it, Kel, was closing fast on him.
It was a beautiful play by Pickett.
Yeah.
Touch. Just superb touch.
And the movement, just to spin onto the left.
Yeah.
Tough kick for a left footer. In the left forward pocket. Fritsch. Can he put it through? He can't. He's put it right across the face, and he's pushed it out for a minor score. So the Doggies 10-13-73, Melbourne 6-2-38, and we have gone nearly 19 minutes in the third quarter.
Rory Logs decided to try and go with a barrel into the middle of the ground. Norton spoils it down, straight to Treloar. They're out. This might be a set play. Poulter marks the centre half forward. No one in the goal square, so he goes for home. It's offline to the right, bounces and turns and curls through. No! We might be going upstairs. Suggested defending from Moniz Wakefield, maybe denied. And Caleb Poulter might have kicked a goal from 55. He didn't think he had it, and then everyone turned to the goal umpire, and the soft call is a goal. In fact, I'm not even sure we're going upstairs. The goal umpire was that certain, it just had to clear the line, and eventually the all clear given. What about the set play from the Bulldogs, Mick Malthouse? Rory Lobb with a barrel down the middle, and it all ended in the hands of Caleb Poulter.
Yeah, I'm wondering who his target was down the middle, because it certainly didn't go to someone who had a marking capability, and it wasn't Mongrel. And as we've said before, if you put that ball on the ground and it becomes a chaos ball, anything can happen.
I think that'll be called back as touch, won't it? I'm watching the replay.
So it's bouncing to the right behind post, and then it curls left and goes through, and poor old Tom McDonald's the man who couldn't get a hand to it, desperately trying to sprint 20 metres back.
I know everything is reviewed. Here we got the good side-on view in our box now. There.
I don't think anyone's touched it.
Unless he missed it. He and McNeil came charging in.
Well, they've cleared it. It's a goal.
Lay on, Gawn. Tried to get it down to Rivers. He was held, so Rivers bobs up, gets the free kick. Runs around English, the man on the mark. Wants to get a little bit more distance. Goes to the top of the goal square. Standing under it was Lobb. Couldn't take the mark. Here's a chance for Pickett. Almost picked his pocket. High up and down. It won't get the distance. Melksham puts his body on the line. Was brave. Came in and crunched Jones, who was camped underneath that drop. And it was a high drop as well. In the end, a ball up. The edge of the goal square here for the D's. Gawn just tries to poke it in the Viney direction. Viney tries to bullock his way through. And Liberatore wasn't giving up on that one. It was a old-fashioned jump ball. Back to the umpire it goes. This time English swats it away. Treloar takes off after it. A chance for the youngster Tholstrup. He handballs back to Moniz Wakefield on the outside of the boot, the banana, and chopped off by Buku Kamis.
Yeah, the boos from the Footscray fans as it gives the hand pass away to Bramble in the right back pocket. Looks up towards Bontempelli, who doesn't have to break stride but does slightly slip over at right half back.
That was a beautiful kick.
Certainly was. The Bulldogs by 41 points. Hand pass to Bramble, who bangs it long towards Darcy at half forward. He almost takes the mark he did against Tom McDonald. A show of strength, and in the end it was impressive from the young 21-year-old who was able to hold the more experienced Tom McDonald at 31 years of age just at bay. And now he might be thinking goals from around 50 metres out to the right.
Probably the most impressive part of his young game is how strong he is in the marking contest.
Totally agree.
How does he go from outside 50 here? Sam Darcy comes in. It's across the face, and in the end it's Daniel Turner who punches it through for a minor score. The Bulldogs leading by 42 points, I should say. Meanwhile, in Perth, it's the Gold Coast Suns who lead by 7 points at quarter time against the West Coast Eagles. We'll take you there at the completion of this evening's match.
Dogs 5-1 in this third term. 8 minutes still to play in it. On the kick in, the D's go long, looking for Melksham. He had went for the big hanger, couldn't control it. Neil Bullen swoops, handballs to Viney. Handballs to Tholstrup. He goes, the kick was beautifully executed. And he hits the chest of Chandler. Now, all by himself at the top of the goal square. It was Frick streaming back. He ignores him, and instead, he gives it off to his teammate who's going to run in and deliver a goal. Rivers was free inside 50. And a much-needed goal Rivers delivers for the D's. Margin now 36 points. Melbourne 7-2-44. The Dogs 11-14-80 with 7 to play before three-quarter time.
Well, Lingy, that's the most disorganised I've seen the Dogs play. They were really caught out badly from the centre of the ground back. I don't know, because maybe the scoreline suggests a little bit of complacency, but I reckon it was almost 4-1. Running into an open 50-metre line. That hasn't been the case all day. They've had to earn their... Fritz has kicked 3, but he's had... Or 2, has he? He's kicked 2, but he's had to earn them.
And he probably had a third there if Chandler was a right footer. He would have kept on going.
Exactly.
Instead he turned back and gives it to Rivers. Yeah, they had options everywhere. That was strange from the Dogs.
Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling as Marcus Bontempelli tries to get the clearance worked off it by Sparrow. The Bont tries it once more, but it's Langdon for Melbourne. Hand pass to Max Gawn. Gets the hand pass to Moniz. Wakefield tries to break away. Brought down by Garcia. The Bulldogs take it back. Poulter's hand pass to Garcia. Centre wing on the City side. Hand pass to Treloar, trying to give it back to Garcia. He's tackled by Langdon. Back to Treloar on the wing. Hand pass to Poulter. Just has to jam it on the boot. Up towards half forward. Darcy trying to get in from the side. Lever makes the spoil. Doyle. DeRay left it behind, taps it away from Gawn, gets it to West at right half forward. Inside 50, Bontempelli and Rivers. Rivers tries to juggle the markers. Bont lost his footing. And now he's tackled by Vandermeer. The umpire will ball it up. And it's about 35 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal. The Doggies leading by 36.
English, the only ruck that goes at it, but he gives it down to Rivers, dribbles the kick as far as Garcia needs to get rid of it. Was he tackled? Was he holding the ball? Well done by Bowie.
The Dogs still aren't set outside the back 50, in front, outside their front 50. They're really all over the shop at the moment. Melbourne will find easy targets here on the way out.
He kicks sideways to Turner and then goes further wide to Petty. Slow and steady for the D's. Certainly hasn't been pretty. As Petty goes along, Van Rooyen slips through his fingers. Waiting at the back was Fridge. Umpire says there's a blocking call. And it's going the way of the D's.
Well, going to the Dogs.
The Dogs, because Van Rooyen, he blocked for Van Rooyen to have a clear run at it.
Yeah, he did. Just took Liam Jones right out of the marking contest.
Jones in the Ugle-Hagen direction. Darcy comes over the top, claims the mark. Got a fingertip to it and then grabbed it. Kicks it to his other ruckman. Master to the apprentice, Sam Darcy, to English directly in front.
Max Gawn, have a look at him.
Smart play by English, because you've got the two big lads. You've got Darcy and English. Darcy goes to the ball. Max Gawn is around the contest. English runs forward, 40 metres away from Gawn. Gawn just throws his hands in the air and says, "Where's my coverage?"
Yeah, and he's got every right to ask
Absolutely.
that. Everything he does for the team, no one covered English for him.
All-Australian ruckman a couple of years ago. He didn't kick that one like an All-Australian ruckman. He hangs it out to the right. The Western Australian, who's out of contract at the end of the season, got both Perth clubs very, very interested. Doggies by 37. Sorry, Mick.
I was going to say, Cal Fremantle, they've got two ruckmen, unless they think Darcy with his ongoing knee problem, but I just can't see how you could have West Coast, yes, but certainly not Fremantle.
Bowie to Petty, kicks up the city wing, and Tom McDonald takes the mark. So interesting, we'll keep an eye if he's been swung forward. Up towards Fridge, trying to hold off Liam Jones and juggles the mark. The size mismatch there and kicks into the pocket where Van Rooyen's charged forward. He juggles the mark against Buku Karmas. Some of the best transition for Melbourne for the night in the left forward pocket. The footy now in the hands of Jacob Van Rooyen.
Yeah, but we've seen that a couple of times now in the last 5 minutes where they've got out the back of the Bulldogs. And yes, it did come from an excellent contested mark by Bailey Fridge, but the moment they're getting it to centre or just in front, they're actually able to go pretty fast at the moment.
Haven't got enough numbers, Lingy. Their midfield is not working back.
Van Rooyen, the Western Australian, opens up the angle, swings onto his right and puts through his first goal of the night. And the Demons 8 try and close the gap once more to just over 5 goals. Footscray 11-15-81 to Melbourne 8-2-50. The Bulldogs with 5 goals to 3 so far in this third quarter. Meanwhile in Perth, it's the Gold Coast Suns 3-4-22, leading the West Coast Eagles 2-2-14. Start of the second quarter there. We'll take you there at the completion of this match.
Bailey Dale is adamant that one hit the post. He was going to get the ball out of the bag and go and have a kick. And he spoke to the goal umpire. As we know, every goal is reviewed. Soft review back in the arc. So maybe they'll have a look at it. But Bailey Dale is certain this has hit the post. I haven't seen a replay yet to show anything.
Hang on, they are looking now.
A review.
They are looking, yep. This may not be a goal if he's straight out of it.
Oh, Lingy, you're all over it.
Once a year, Cal.
Tonight's the night, is it? This is as good as it gets. And the Snicko shows that. Yep. It did graze the post, so believe Bailey Dale from now on. He'll take the kick in.
It's quite amazing, though, that the goal umpire can't pick that up, especially when a player has picked it up on running into it. Oh, I find that extraordinary, really. I'm not doubting it's hit the post. We know it's hit the post, but...
So the D's are denied a goal. They're on 7. The Dogs are on 11. The margin is 36. It got out as much as 42 earlier in this quarter. They've led from go to woe, the Doggies. These have not been in front at all tonight, and a free kick going the Dogs' way against Van Rooyen in the marking contest. Norton will take it. He's got it at half-back. He wants to centre it. He was looking for Richards, but it's chopped off by Rivers. So the Demons with possession. He flares it wide. Woden's got some space right on this dockside wing. Goes back into the corridor. And here's a chance for Turner, who's a thumping kick. Charging out late was Van Rooyen. Couldn't reach up over the top of English, though. That was always a big ask. And English takes the defensive mark.
Well, that's fantastic play. Defensive play as a ruckman needs to get back. Got back really quickly and got back spot on where the positioning of the ball was going to fall.
Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling, Matt Clinch, Kelly Underwood and Tim Hodges with you for Friday Night Footy. Taylor DeRay from half-back. Kicks up to Bontempelli, makes the contest. Down in front, Waitman. Hand pass to Chalor, Ugle-Hagan. He marks it left half forward. McVee's the loose in defence. The kick towards Riley West. McVee got back, provides support for Harrison Petty. Chips it to Woden, who marks it right half-back.
They want to go so wide there, Mick. They had free players in the corridor, the Dogs.
Why would they do that? They've been doing it basically all day.
Yeah.
It must be, look, it's got to be an instruction. Maybe that's their way now, is to defend the ball a bit. But nonetheless.
Up the wing, looking for Gawn. He's held out of it, and Taylor DeRay takes the mark for Footscray. Goes short to Richards.
Two-time premiership player with the Hawks, Taylor DeRay. Richards now from half forward. The entry inside 50 to the congestion. Ugle-Hagan couldn't read it off the pack. English has got it. Ducks into a tackle by Viney. He's not getting out of that. Viney takes him to ground. A ball up. 25 out from the Doggies' goal. Remember, percentage will come into this because of the squish that's on in the top 8 at the moment. Richards goes without it. Loops it up to Langdon. Stolen by Waitman. He picked his pocket and missed. Waitman on the burst, charging through, got his hands on the Sharon, the quick snap, and missed to the left. Cody Waitman, he had 2 goals, did he, in the first? 1 goal in the first quarter, 1 goal in the third.
Demons quickly bring it back in through Petty to Melcham in the back pocket. Long kick out towards Tom McDonald on the City wing. He doesn't get the free kick and a boundary throw in. Schofield made the spoil.
27 shots to 10.
Yep.
It's an amazing result so far for the Dogs.
Tom McDonald should have been pinged 3 times tonight for dissent.
Yep, that rule doesn't exist.
48-27, the inside 50 is the way of the Western Bulldogs as Bowers kick chopped off by Poulter inside 50 looking for Waitman. He tangles with Lever, it clears to the back of the pack and Jamara Ugle-Hagan takes it out of play for a boundary throw in. Right forward pocket for the Bulldogs.
Can I make a prediction though, Cal? Upon review,
yes,
it will be spoken about all week and there will be a heap paid next week.
Oh, yes, you'll all absolutely agree. Monday review. Hey, guys, what happened to dissent? Let's make sure we're on top of it this week.
You've got 2 very senior umpires out there.
Ugle-Hagan, the stray handball from the Demons, and he can't make them pay. A snap in that right forward pocket on his left. So he's kicked 2 goals, 5.
All gettable too, Kel.
Very.
It's 38 points. Could be a lot more than that. As the Demons at right half back through Woden up to Neil Bullen. Can't take the mark. Richards tries to protect the space for McNeil. Trying to knock it to DeRay. A free kick over the shoulder. And it'll go the Western Bulldogs' way to Lockie McNeil. Gets to his feet to take it against Daniel Turner. Just in front of the 2 benches. He'll be letting them know that we're right on 3/4 time. McNeil veers out to the right. He drives it inside 50. Ugle-Hagan's in there. Norton in from the side. Big fly. Can't hang on to it to his right-hand shoulder. Aaron Norton. Rivers with a hand pass to Viney. Trying to spin out of traffic. Aaron Norton gets him and throws him into the turf. No prior opportunity, says the umpire. The ball up at left half forward. For the Doggies, they lead by 38.
Last minute before 3/4 time. Slapped down by the ruck. Charging is Chandler. And they keep it in play, working in a close confine. Looping the handball was McNeil up to Dale, who blazes on his left right in front of the interchange gates, but Gawn marks at half-back. Gives it off to Lever. Handballs to Sparrow. Needs to stop Prop and then go high. Van Rooyen in from the side. Couldn't quite take it. Quick hands from Chandler. Gives it off to Neil Bullen. It's sliding in, getting down low was Tom McDonald, who's been moved forward. And McDonald, who's had a really rough night down back, is going to line up for his first major of the night. It's a tough one, though, in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, led well. Beautiful kick by Alex Neil Bullen. Tom McDonald, as you said, Cal, has had a horrible night, and he's let everyone in the whole ground know how he's been travelling and how he's been feeling.
He's been grumpy. Very, very grumpy. Mr. Grumpy. Oh, he'll be even grumpier after that. He's sprayed that on his right boot, and it's just squeezed through for a minor score, I think. They're having a bit of a discussion about it.
Yeah, I don't know whether a point's going to make any difference, but
they'll review that one.
Well, they will review it. Goodness me. Margin is currently 38 points. Dogs 11, 17, 83. Melbourne 7, 3, 45. We'll run through the goal kickers while they do that. So Ugle-Hagan has 2-5 for the night. Treloar has 2. Bontempelli has 2. Waitman has 2. Singles to Norton, Williams, Poulter. And for the D's, 2 to Fritsch. And then singles to Gawn, Pickett, Sparrow and Rivers.
Out on the full. No change to the score.
Okay, margin is 38. It's all yours, Clinchy.
Meanwhile, in Perth, it's the Gold Coast Suns leading 4-5-29 over the West Coast Eagles 3-2-20. So victory for the Suns keeps them mathematically in the race for the top 8 and a chance to win their first game away from either Carrara Stadium or Darwin. And the West Coast Eagles chasing their first win under Jared Schofield. Great to have your company on Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Hey Google, play the footy on the ABC.
Did you know you can now listen to the footy on your smart speaker?
Oh, that is amazing!
Play ABC AFL.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Get the best call, the biggest experts in the game, every round of the AFL season.
Can he bend it back? You bet he can!
On your favourite station, ABC Radio. Your home for footy. Now on your smart speaker. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Bontempelli had to beat a couple, and he does. He's so hot tonight. And now the quick pass off to Waitman. Goes the banana in the right forward pocket. Cody's got 2. End-to-end stuff from the Bulldogs. Bontempelli involved again. Handballs to Liberatore. They want to board the Dogs. Richards is involved. Bramble just hacks the kick. Treloar by himself. Well, if Bont doesn't get you, this bloke will. Treloar celebrates with a love heart up to the crowd.
Rory Locks decided to try and go with a barrel into the middle of the ground. Norton spoils it down. Straight to Treloar. They're out. This might be a set play. Poulter marks the centre half forward. No one in the goal square, so he goes for home. It's offline to the right. Bounces and turns and curls through. No! We might be going upstairs. Just defending from Mona's Wakefield. Maybe denied. And Caleb Poulter might have kicked a goal from 55.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The Bulldogs with 5 goals to 2 in the third quarter to turn at three-quarter time, 38 points in front. Having led by 18 points at half-time, 24 at quarter-time. Footscray 11, 17, 83 to the Demons 7, 3, 45. Matt Klitsch and Kelly Underwood calling the action. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling are your experts. At half-time, Stephen May was subbed out of the match with a rib injury, meaning that an opportunity for Daniel Turner to come into the match. Caleb Daniel is the sub for Footscray. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
He's not anymore, Clinchy. Caleb Daniel now into the game. So just watching Tom Liberatore, he finished three-quarter time, went to the doctor. The doctor sat down with him. They took the boot and sock off on his right foot, and they clearly didn't like what they saw. So I'm not sure just not sure how serious this is, whether they just wanted to get Caleb Daniel into the game and any reason to get a player off, or whether it's actually quite bad and they think he's done. So obviously Liberatore is out. So it's a right foot or right ankle issue that he's got. I'm just trying to catch what he does, how he walks off the ground. But he has been taken out of the game, and Caleb Daniel in for the last 30 minutes.
All right, thank you, Hodgie. We'll keep an eye on him. He has had his issues with concussion, Tom Liberatore, in 2024. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Well, it's fair to say to Tim that he's a vital player for them, and if there's any doubt when you're 6 or 7 goals in front, then, well, thereabouts. So you really play safe. The dynamics of the middle will change with him not in there.
That's where you love. Let's say they do kick straight tonight, and the game's probably over anyway.
Yeah.
But it is definitely over if they kick straight.
Yeah.
And then Luke Beveridge can much earlier say, okay, I want Libba subbed off.
Yep.
Daniel in. I can now manage a little bit more. Okay, Bont's going to spend, each time he rotates off the ground, he's going to spend 2 more minutes than he normally would on the bench. I can start to, so it's just, it shows how important it is when you've got a game in hand, in control at this time of the year. If you can actually put it away early, you then give more options to the coaches and the fitness staff to say, hey, let's start doing a little bit with this player and this player. We know what sort of load they've had throughout the season, their injury history. We can start managing within a game to lead into finals.
And even though there's a bye, now you can reduce their time, as you say, Lingy, just enough to get them over. Like here they are trying to play safe and they're 8th.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
But, you have to. You've got to be so careful about players' health.
And because they should trust the fact that they're going to get enough wins to play finals, and therefore it's about hitting finals as healthy as they can possibly be, in particular to their key players, of course, Tom Liberatore being one of those.
So on the live ladder, Footscray jumped to 4th at the moment. Of course, Carlton, the Giants, Geelong, Port Adelaide could jump above them with victory over the weekend. But Tim Hodges, as you watch Tom Liberatore walk past you, what do you notice?
He was in pain. He's just been given the T-shirt. Now, I just think it's a rolled ankle, and I'm willing to back Mick and Lingy. They're our experts. They're the ones paid the most, and they know what's going on better than anyone else. I just think, any reason they could, and once it was a rolled ankle, it was like, all right, get him out, get him on ice, and get him ready for next week.
Bulldogs by 38 points into the final term we go. Ed Langdon gets the first clearance for Melbourne. Kicks inside 50. Fritsch can't take the mark. Caulfield makes the spoil. Bailey Dale for the Bulldogs. Kicks around the city side. It's marked by Garcia at half-back.
That ball is inside forward 50 now. If Garcia had given that handball to Ed Richards coming past, they had a wave of runners then, who I think were all expecting that handball to be given.
Laterally to Dale, who now kicks up the wing to Williams. Interesting, Melbourne were in position for a couple of minutes, and Luke Beveridge kept his team very tight, reiterating his message as Williams kicks up to the 50. Flying in the pack, Petty and Lever, neither can hang on. Darcy for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Bontempelli. A centering kick looking for Vandermeer. It's spoiled away by McVie. Pickett comes charging through. Careful not to lay a bump too high. It's Lever who gets a clearing hand pass, but straight to Richards. He steadies on his right and puts through another for the Bulldogs. Their 12th goal to start the final term, just a minute in. And Ed Richards joins the growing list of goal kickers with his first. Footscray 12-17-89 to Melbourne 7-3-45. Just a minute gone in the final term on ABC Sport.
Lingy, you know how you say people have got to be aware and accelerate, not get caught. I reckon everyone just absolutely stopped. He had that much time. He was caught on his right leg, and then he went back on his left and still had time to steady, straighten up. So whether the D's have, thought this is it, we're hanging up the gear, but that was quite extraordinary.
Yeah, and I love the fact, so he's game number 121 now for Richards. The game is well and truly slowing down for him. You're right. I reckon a lot of others rush that and kick that on their non-preferred.
Yeah.
Whereas he just straight and bang goal.
So back underway, the Demons win it out of the centre. Langdon's got it out wide on the city side, but his kick's been chopped off by Bailey Dale. Gives it to Karmas. Karmas is dumped in a tackle, and that is holding the ball. Rewarded will be Tom McDonald.
The angry man.
The angry man, Mr. Grumpy. Shorts it to Max.
Beautiful.
Mark's uncontested, and Gawn can go back if he's got 52 in his tired, ageing legs.
I don't reckon he has. He's going to give this to Jakey Lever? No.
Halfway through the year, he was a lock for the All-Australian ruckman, but I tell you what, the last month from Tim English has been very good. So he runs around to the right to give himself a little bit more oomph, but he hasn't got the distance, and it triples over the boundary. 1 metre around from the goal point post, so it will be a boundary throw-in.
It'd be interesting to see who...
who's your All-Australian ruckman at this stage, Lee? You're no longer a selector.
I haven't quite looked as closely at it, Clinchy. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
I'll come back down the tap. Viney spearing towards goal. He might have bounced it through. No, it bounces offline and across the behind line as Tom McDonald and Bramble fought for it, a minor score. Bulldogs leading by 43 points. Just 3 minutes gone in the final term. Meanwhile in Perth, the Suns 4-6-30 leading the West Coast Eagles 4-2-26. We'll take you there after this match.
So the Dogs work it around by foot before eventually Treloar marks and handballs to Dale. Dale's looped long to Garcia. And he has got space galore. Wedges the kick over the top to Poulter. Loose players everywhere. They're running in waves. Kick comes to Darcy. Darcy wins a free. Play on advantage, and taking the mark at the top of the goal square is Norton, who can go back and kick his second and finish off his teammates. Good work.
Yeah, well done, Dogs. Just moved the ball so quick. Melbourne covered the corridor, but they just couldn't get to the flanks, and that's where the damage was done. The Dogs had plenty of options, and that was a great square up.
Well, there was a sense of inevitability in the air when the Dogs came out and kicked the first three. It had a whiff of maybe triple figures. Threatening to run away with it eventually in the last term. Biggest lead of the night. It's 49 points. Melbourne stranded 7-4-46. And the Dogs 13-17-95. 2 goals to none to start this second term.
Can I throw one name up? Oscar McInerney.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He's had a brilliant season.
Yeah, just for influence.
Yep.
Grundy early, up to the last half dozen, well, maybe three or 4 weeks.
Yep.
I think halfway, Max would have had it in the bag, but...
But you're right, English's last month with the Dogs form has been brilliant. It'll be an interesting discussion. I don't have to sit in it, and I don't have to put my stack hat on at the end of the season and cop all the feedback that Copper did it for 12 years.
Cameron Lee and Mick Moldhouse with you on ABC Sport. He's still signing up for us tonight. Back in the middle, Gawn wins down the tap against English. Viney's worked off it by Treloar. Richards lays the tackle on Woden.
Got him high.
Over the shoulder in the eyes of the umpires. Free kick Melbourne's way in the middle of Docklands. So the Demons with Port Adelaide, the Gold Coast and Collingwood to come as a kick inside 50. Tom McDonald can't take the mark, having got rid of his opponent. Lob with a hand pass to Caulfield. Clearing kick might be coming back as Woden back with the flight. Takes the mark for Melbourne.
Spots Neil Bullen about 20 metres ahead of him, so he goes there, but he's right up against the boundary line. At half forward, his eyes are darting. Has a little bit of a dash and then just dabs it to the top of the goal square. Gawn was there. Picking it up is Lob. Duray handballing backwards to Dale, to English in the back pocket. His kick's really making Treloar work, and he's outmarked on this occasion by Woden. So young Woden will go back and have a set shot, Mick, right on 50, tidy shangle.
That wasn't a ruckman trying to be a rover, was it?
It was, yeah. We've been pumping
him up, exactly.
Him up, but that one, just go long down the line, that one.
What you should do as a ruckman, just, the neutrons aren't working as well as the rovers.
So Woden, see if he can produce his first of the night. It splits the middle. Well done. All too little too late, but a little bit of confidence for the young gun. And the margin 43, the Dogs lead it, but Melbourne have their 8th goal of the night. 8-4-52. The Dogs 13-17-95. Still 15 minutes in this ball game.
Yeah, and Melbourne now have just got to trying to build some form. They've got to think, okay, the last few weeks of the season, how can we give ourselves a chance? Go down fighting, go down trying to squeeze yourself into that top 8. So let's build some form tonight. Our pressure, our spread from the midfield has to be there. Find some different avenues to goal. Just little things they can look at and work on. I mean, I think personnel-wise there's a number of changes that perhaps need to be made, but find something from tonight you can take into next week, whatever it might be, individually or as a group.
On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Tristan Sherry is one suggestion for All-Australian, the North Melbourne ruck, and Rowan Marshall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I like both those. Actually, very good. Both really aggressive ruckman. Yeah, spot on. Absolutely. Rowan Marshall's been fantastic. And Sherry hasn't he? No wonder they moved Goldstein out.
McPhee can't break away from Garcia. Thrown up still in the middle of Docklands. Richards races after it. Hand pass chopped off by Jacob Van Rooyen for Melbourne. The forward kicks up towards 50. Melcham's outnumbered 2-on-1. And Buku Kama's doing the wrestling. Cleared a path for Rory Lobb to take the mark. In his new role, he kicks in the middle of the ground, and English takes the mark. Wants to give the hand pass to Garcia, despite Alex Neil-Bullen being right on his tail. Hand pass back, under pressure. And he's got a problem, Caulfield. He's gone as Neil-Bullen locks him up and wins back the footy for Melbourne.
Can they secure a couple of goals late here, the D's? Again, Neil-Bullen runs around, goes long, launching up over the top. That was a great mark by English. Marking in front of Tom McDonald and Melksham. Kicks into the back pocket. Backwards he goes to Dale. Goes around the city side to Treloar, who's in plenty of space. Listen to the roar. The applause as he takes a couple of bounces and dashes down the city wing in his 250th and delivers beautifully to Vandermeer. They're going down the line. They've got loose players everywhere. Bontempelli from 70 out. Top of the goal square. Darcy was the target. Now the tackle's been applied. And the D's defenders are going nowhere. They run into a brick wall. Petty tackled down there by West.
If it's not Ugle-Hagan and it's not Norton, then you've got Darcy to contend with. It's a real lethal height factor down there.
Darcy and Van Rooyen. Darcy taps it down to his own advantage, but he's tackled immediately. Brett Rosebery throws it in the air. The two tangle once more. Waitman coming through his speed. Rivers as well. Jamara Ugle-Hagan has a go. Stepped up by Judd McVie.
And provided Waitman and Riley West and Garcia and that are buzzing around,
that's it.
It doesn't become slow.
Here's Waitman on cue on the move. Tackle by Turner. He ragdolls him to the turf. No prior opportunity. And a ball up still in the left forward pocket for the Bulldogs.
Throw Bont down there too. That makes it a terrible situation if you're a backline player.
They had 5 multiple goal scorers tonight. The Bulldogs have kicked 2 goals. Darcy trying to take it out of the ruck. Tackled, lost it. Viney just grunts his way to win the footy. Kicks it into the middle of the ground. Lobb comes charging out. He's spoiled, doesn't clear the congestion. And Neil-Bullen gathers for Melbourne. Hand pass away to Langdon. Hand pass missed Pickett, but he's slick enough to regather from 50. A vacant goalmouth. He goes for home and bounces it through for his second.
Well done.
Still working hard through the middle of Docklands and a touch of class to finish. Cossie Pickett with his second, and Melbourne with their first or second, their second goal of the final term. Footscray 13-17-95 to the Demons 9-4-58. Meanwhile in Perth, the Gold Coast Suns 6-7-43, leading the West Coast Eagles 5-2-32. Tim Hodges on the bench.
Clinchy, just a dirty night for the Demons, topped off. Unfortunately, Stephen May has been taken to hospital. He'll have scans on those ribs. The fear is he might have cracked them again for the second time this season. So, yeah, horrible night on the scoreboard, and another star player with internal injuries for the Demons. So, yeah, just a tough night.
D's with back-to-back goals to get it back to a 37-point margin. Tick under 14 minutes to play in this one. English and Gawn renew their tussle. Neither can win it. Chandler gets a handball out of there. And then Neil-Bullen, who's tackled by Caleb Daniels, started as the sub tonight.
Yeah, he's playing half forward now, coming up into the midfield, which is good to get him into the game.
Gawn flicks it down, looking for Viney. It bumbles around in there. Eventually he gets the handball, but he's given it straight to Bramble under plenty of pressure. Bramble's kick comes towards the interchange gates. The foot race is on. It needs to sit well here for Vandermeer. Underground handball to Poulter, who loops the handball back to Vandermeer. He's got Lever for company. It was always going to be tough, and the Demons emerge with the footy. Volstrup had it, tackled by Richards, who's been brilliant again tonight. Over the boundary, Volstrup comes to the bench. Clayton Oliver will come on. Hasn't had the significant impact on games this year as we've seen in previous years, and tonight's been very similar story. Dogs by 37.
Just the one disposal for Clary in the final term so far. 15 for the match. It's from the stoppage. No chance to really break away for Rivers. He has a second go. Brought down. It's Riley West's turn to dive on top of the footy. Clayton Oliver lays the tackle.
Unfortunately for Oliver, what was more disappointing was his start to the game. Just the physicality and the broken tackles that got the Dogs going. That was the hardest part.
Tap down to McVie, kicks into the middle of the ground. Melcham can't mark. Karma steals with it for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Bailey Dale, to Richards, to Bramble. They work it to the Dockside wing. Poulter kicks out towards Waitman. He's out number 2-on-1. Monese Wakefield did his work in front, and Max Gawn flying from behind takes the mark.
Yeah, that's not a really good choice by the Dogs player. He just kicked it to a small player against two talls.
Max Gawn kicks it up the dock swing, straight to Sam Darcy. Aerial contest as he takes the mark, and into the middle of the ground he opens up play. Bailey Dale takes the mark. Jamari Ugelhagen on the lead, can't take the mark. Petty did well. He's then tackled by Ugelhagen. Good follow up, and the ball spills out of play. And a lot of the Bulldogs forwards, Norton, Waitman, they all go to Ugelhagen. A good second effort to force the ball out of play.
It was a really good transfer of play by Sam Darcy. As soon as he marked it, looked corridor, had a short one on, but chose to go a little bit longer, opened up the whole far side of the ground. Well played.
Gawn beats Sam Darcy to it in the ruck. Handball straight to Langdon, who's tackled by Williams.
He's teaching him a lesson in the ruck. Let me tell you, Gawn is really teaching him a lesson.
And again, this time he goes at it with both fists. Langdon taps it down to Sparrow. It was clever. Wobbly old kick straight down the line over the boundary line. It'll be a boundary throw-in on the City side wing, where plenty of Bulldogs fans are tonight.
Look at the ruckman are. The ruckman are 30 yards behind. The boundary umpire look around. Wait until they're ready. Get them in order, which they do not have to do. I can't. Nowhere in the rule book does it say that.
Mick Malthouse, Cameron Lang, Matt Lynch, Kelly Underwood and Tim Hodges with you for Friday Night Footy. Shallow throw in. Gawn takes out of the ruck. Hand pass to Rivers. Just got to pass Caleb Daniel. Hand pass to Langdon. Tackled by Williams. Couldn't quite get it to Rivers. And Daniel takes it back for the Bulldogs. City wing. He kicks up to Ugelhagen on the lead. A beautiful pass. He dropped it in the end. Has a metre or so on Jake Lever. Swings to his left and then back on his right. Inside 50. Norton flies. Can't take the mark. Turner spoils it down. Front and centre. Crumbing it is Vandermeer. He kicks towards the goal line, but Melbourne have the loose in defence. It's gathered by Woden. Hand pass to Bowie. He chips it up to Neil Bullen. It bounces in front of he and Fridge. Fridge gathers, sidesteps Bramble. Hand pass to McVee. Sidesteps Rory Lobb at left halfback. And then hand passes it to Melcham.
Who uses Fridge. They're over-possessing it by hand right in front of us, right in front of the interchange gates. McVee, in the end, kicks it out of there. Pickett sets himself, but he has to beat Liam Jones.
Good mark.
And he was never going to do that. Liam Jones read it better than his direct opponent, Van Rooyen. Jones finds Lobb all by himself on the wing, the dock wing, who handballs to Dale and chips the ball down the line to Poulter. They've all played their role tonight, the Bulldogs players. Poulter wheels around on the left. Skies the kick, looking for Ugelhagen, who ran and launched. Here's West, handballs it out to Waitman. He's kicked a couple. He dropped it cold. He sockers it towards goal. Ugelhagen goes down. Umpire doesn't blow his whistle. And it trickled over the boundary line. Now there's going to be a conference. Was it a minor score or it hit the point post?
We're 120 metres away, Kel. If that hasn't hit the post and the goal umpire is within 5 metres, I'm going to go to Specsavers, let me tell you, right now, if that has not hit the post.
Clearly.
Clear as day. And the boundary umpire saw it too. And I think the goal umpire wanted to review it. I think you just trust boundary umpire, be definitive and say, yep, I saw it. It's out of bounds.
Ugelhagen and Sparrow sort of tangled in the goal square. Both got up a little sore.
Throw it in. Gawn in front position, trying to palm it down to Oliver through traffic. And no prior opportunity, says the umpire. He's charging through on the move. Is that Riley West who got locked up?
I want to see Darcy change his angle here because he's just getting mauled. Don't run. Well, that's a better one.
Taps it down to Bontempelli. Clears the path for McNeil. Gets the hand pass away to Vandermeer. Trying to get it on his right-hand side. Hand passes to Ugelhagen. Brushes off Oliver. Swings onto his right. A high kick which could hit the roof. It doesn't go that far. Underneath to Darcy. It went 15 in the eyes of the umpire.
Big Max was 15 metres behind him.
Was the only one who really wanted to have a fly at that. And as a result, he claims the mark in the right forward pocket. And a chance to try and boot his first.
He made that look easy. That's a hard mark to take. When it goes that high and it's a floater. we used to do that as a comp at training, just mucking around. They're hard to take.
Sam Darcy curls it around the corner to put through his first goal of the night. And the Western Bulldogs are charging now towards their 12th win of the season. 14-17, 101 as they pass the 100 to Melbourne at 9-4-58. The Doggies by 43 points, 17 minutes gone, final term. Approaching half-time in Perth, it's the Gold Coast Suns 7-7-49 leading the West Coast Eagles 6-2-38. And on the SMS 0437 774 774, Bill says Bont is sporting a 1960s hairdo in honour of the Footscray jumper.
Yeah, well, he's doing a beautiful job of it too. Just for anyone listening, if you're having a kick of the footy tomorrow in the park or the oval or anything like that, boot it up as high as you can in the air, not with a drop punt spin.
From the belly of the ball.
Belly of the ball, and then try and take it over your head in the hands. It's a fun little thing to try and do. No fumbles allowed, and see if you can mark it. That's a great grab by Darcy.
I think I'm a bit busy tomorrow, Leggy, but maybe another time.
Give it a go, Cal.
Okay, all right.
It might hit you in the face.
The D's out of the centre. And Tholstrup from 50 out directly in front goes for home.
Not that I want it to hit you in the face, Cal, of course.
I'm going to rock up the TV on Sunday twice. That would be a good look. So, minor score. Doggies by 42. They've got control of it. They have possession through their sub, Caleb Daniel, short to Williams round the city side. Daniel kept running. Williams ignores him. Yeah, well and truly out of this one. Dogs... Hugo Hagen, maybe not quite. He said there's plenty of time for a bit of a showstopper. What a leap. A lovely leap from Ugal Hagen in a pack of about 6. Too far out to score. He hits up Norton right on the boundary line. He's right on 50 and he's up against the security guard.
A late kick here to let Darcy or English come at the ball.
Right next to he's knocked the security guard out of the chair. Now he's moving the chair. He's tossed that aside. He can reach out and high-five the Bulldogs fans sitting in row 1.
Just take a little bit off this kick and let the tools come at it.
Yep, he shorts it. He's looking for English. Strong in front of Petty. Great understanding between the two tools for the Dogs. That was brilliant.
It was.
Perfect play. That's been practiced. That's what you train.
Yeah.
Forward line group, when you talk about connection and understanding each other.
They expect the forward to lead out.
Yep.
The ruckman leads out and leaves their ruckman in Gawn behind. So the backline player.
Set shot snap. Tim English. He's led from the front, the big ruck from WA. And he's teaching the Demons an English lesson tonight. 15-17, 107. Utterly dominant against the D's. 9-5-59. The margin back out to 48 points.
Well, it's been a domination. When you look at it, 32 shots at goal to only 14. And I know for brief periods of time tonight the scoreboard got close-ish.
Yeah.
And we thought, could Melbourne find another one here? Could they find there? Is the errant kicking going to come back and bite the Dogs? But really, they have completely owned this game.
This is a great setup now for 3 games to go.
Yeah.
They've won 4 big games in a row against sides that are either on top of that or thereabouts, level with them. So great confidence from this. They look like they're intact. Hopefully Livatore's fine.
Becomes the 10th individual goal kicker for the Western Bulldogs as English wins down the tap for Footscray, but it's Rivers who gets the clearance. Hand pass to Woden into the middle of the ground. Down low for Viney. His hand pass just a little too slick for Tholstrup, and he's locked up by Treloar. And the umpire will ball it up just to the left of the centre circles. As the umpire throws it into the air, Gawn and English. It spills down the way of Treloar in game 250. A couple of goals for him. Back to Daniel, to Caulfield at halfback. Kicks out to the Dogs wing. It bounces in front of Williams. He taps it to his own advantage. And eventually across the boundary line.
We spoke about this at three-quarter time too. Marcus Bontempelli, he's played most of this quarter as a bit of a forward, sitting on the bench for big chunks of time. So to go with the fact that Libber's subbed off, and with the scoreboard the way it is, been able to get big rest periods into their key players.
Thrown in. Gawn wins down the tap. Rivers trying to break away from the McNeil tackle. Back to Gawn. Back to Rivers. Still at the centre of the Dock swing. Head pass to Gawn. He's on his backside. He gets back up, wrestles with Williams, and eventually taken over the boundary line for a throw-in. So Marcus Bontempelli had a red-hot first half. He's got 31 disposals for the match. Bailey Dale with 32. Trent Rivers with 25 and Langdon with 21 in the Western Bulldogs. 48-point lead. Time on final turn.
Gawn still fighting it out. Gets the tap down. McNeil handballs to Treloar. Goes back to Garcia. Gets around Rivers. Handballs to Williams. Right up against the boundary line. They work their way out of this jigsaw puzzle. And then the bang long to Mara.
Wow.
Bugle Hagen with some hang time late. Don't go anywhere, Doggies fans. The game's well and truly done, but there's still 6 minutes left. And the way this guy is leaping and jumping and confident at the Sharon, he could take mark of the year any minute. On his left, he hasn't been able to kick the goals tonight.
He could have also had a monster night.
But he's put on a showstopper with his leaping. So what are we up to? 3 goals, 5?
2 goals, 6. I got
2 goals.
Oh, sorry. I added the one to the wrong column. It's been a long game. 2 goals, 6 for Jamara.
It's a lot of shots on goal, isn't it?
A couple of speckies.
It's Petty from half-back, kicks up towards Van Rooyen, can't take the mark. Fritsch, tackle, brought down. Umpire says no prior opportunity as Rory Lobb wrapped him up. In fact, it was Liam Jones, centre of the City wing, and a ball up. Bulldogs by 49 points, so a 4th consecutive win on the horizon for the Western Bulldogs as they're inside the top 8 and up to 4th tonight. Oliver, tackle, brought down by Garcia. Bulldogs fans want a whistle, and they won't get it. A throw-in. It's a 2 exchange. Pushing and shoving, and Colstrip, the youngster, comes in just to offer some support to Clayton Oliver.
Oh, they're 2 fiery cats, aren't they? Garcia tackled Oliver to the turf, and Oliver wasn't happy with how he was treated. Bit of frustrations for Clayton Oliver. Again, Oliver and Garcia, and again, Garcia beats him, so Garcia emerges with the footy. Mark Pate, he pops up, his shirt's ripped open from a bit of frustration from Clary. The high kick inside 50, Bowie, to McVee. And now Tom McDonald marking. He's got a step or two on his direct opponent, Lobb. He puts it out in front of Pickett, has to wait for it to bounce. Traps it right in front of the Dogs bench. Wheels around, goes inboard to Fritsch. Marks, plays on quickly on the left. Into the left forward pocket, and Jones leads Van Rooyen to the footy and takes the mark.
He just worked the angle beautifully there. Knew the leading lane Van Rooyen wanted. Read the left foot kick from Fritsch. Picked it off easy.
Jones sits it on Lobb's head. Gee, it's incredible. They're becoming like the Dacos brothers. They keep looking for each other, Jones and Lobb.
Well, it's a great confidence booster for
Rory.
Yeah, too right.
And he's trying to find Norton. Couldn't take the mark. He was surrounded by Demons players. Dale loops it up. Williams has had a good game. Underground handball to Dale, who's almost beheaded by Fritsch. Taken high by Bailey. The 2 Baileys. Fritsch penalised. Dale takes the free. Margin 49 points. Dogs lead it. Led by 24 at quarter time, 18 at half time, 38 at 3/4 time. They're running away with it.
Bailey Dale up the wing to Bontempelli, who takes the mark. Centre wing on the Dogs side. Gives the hand pass back to Williams, who's running the boundary side. He kicks inside 50. Darcy and Waitman. In the end, it's Turner who tries to juggle the mark. Got some good support from Howes. He kicks out to the City wing, and the foot race is on. Caulfield will get there first. He slaps it away from Viney. Out in front of McNeil and Bowie. Bowie taps it to his own advantage. Hand pass to Langdon and halfback. Drives a high ball out on the full. As you can hear the Bronx cheers from the Western Bulldogs fans. Free kick going the Doggies' way. A cheerio to Rory, a blind listener to us in Reservoir. Loves the commentary. We have Darcy Cameron in his All-Australian conversation. It's always a good reminder, Maury, for me to mention our vision-impaired listeners. So the Bulldogs in their traditional blue with the red and the white. They've got the red collar on tonight and the blue shorts. The Demons in their traditional red and blue with the white shorts. And the Doggies, it's been a memorable night for them tonight, celebrating the anniversary of their first premiership back in 1954. So the 70th anniversary. Some of the legends in the house tonight to join the celebrations and the renovation at the Whitten Oval as well. The facilities to join the modern day clubs.
I love the red collar. It looks good. Back into play. The Demons work at the Sparrow. He slips over. He's handballed straight to Garcia, who's feisty. Big pack. And the man in front takes the mark. That's Turner. Started as the sub. The official crowd posted at 33,000 for this Bulldogs home game. And the kick from the Demons, almost chopped off by English. Stays down a little sore, although he's up. It's okay. Demons now with the ball. Van Rooyen's got it in the centre square. Entry inside 50. Fritsch went for the high fly up over the top. Did he get into the back of Lobb? Even though Tom McDonald, Lingy, took the mark uncontested, and he's been denied, and he should have gone again for dissent.
Should have. He slammed the footy into his hand, then threw it back. And
He's had an absolute shocker, Tom McDonald. Nothing's gone right for him tonight.
Happy soul, isn't he?
There's a few Melbourne fans below us who have not had a great night either. They've been asked to leave. As Richards for the Dogs gets the hand pass to Caleb Daniel inside 50 corners. Well set. He's spoiled into by Turner. West keeps it alive. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Can he finish with some class? You bet he can. No. Just over the top of the left goalpost. And of all the ones we've reviewed tonight, the goal umpire said, no, that's a behind. Clear as day. It was high as well. A minor score. The Dogs by 50 points.
It's okay, Marcus. It's not going to change the votes.
Wouldn't the footy world just love it if he won one? I know we're not allowed to be favourites towards a certain player, but you can't help but love him. And he's really put these Bulldogs on his back in the last month.
And on a night like this, I hope umpires give votes based on when the game was there to be won.
Yeah.
Because Bonds just cruised around, hasn't done much in the last quarter, played a bit forward, played on the bench.
Hasn't needed to.
He's been best on ground the first 3 quarters by that far. It's not funny. Hopefully the umpires see it that way as well. I'm sure they will.
So the Dogs work their way to Richards. And Ed Richards, who's Mick's favourite player tonight, has been Mick's favourite Bulldog so far this year. Has got a chance from right on 50. He hooks that to the right. Kept it low on his left. He's already kicked one tonight, though, Ed Richards. Margin is 51. Crowd of 33,000 in. And the Dogs kicked the first 3. And since then, it's really been all one-way traffic. It's lucky that it hasn't been triple figures in the end.
Bowie into Langdon to Petty. Chips it back to Bowie at right half back. To Clayton Oliver, who turns and just blazes as far as he can up the city wing. Van Rooyen has a fly and it can't take the mark. Had the arms chopped just as Garcia was about to break away. So Van Rooyen gets the hand pass to Clayton Oliver. He's tackled by Richards. Surely that was holding the ball. Play on's the call. Van Rooyen just jams a high ball inside 50. Not much of the tall timber there for Melbourne. Pickett swoops onto it, swings onto his right, fires towards goal. Karmas gets back on the goal line to take the mark for the Western Bulldogs. A big win for the Western Bulldogs, the 4th consecutive victory as they're inside the 8 and now they look to climb. They move within striking distance of the top 4. The Bulldogs winners by 51 points as the Demon season may have come to an end. It's the retro footscray song, 15-20-110 to Melbourne 9-5-59. The Bulldogs winners by 51 points in front of 33,000 in at Docklands. They beat it 4-2 in the final term. Footscray led by 24 points at quarter time. They kicked the first 3 goals of the match. By 18 points at half time, the Demons fought back with 4 goals to the Bulldogs 2-6. At half-time, they had 19 scoring shots to 6, but the Bulldogs put their foot down by 38 points at three-quarter time. Winners by 51 points. It finished as 35 scoring shots to 14, and it could have been a very lopsided result, but inaccurate in front of goal. The Western Bulldogs, their hot streak continues, 4 consecutive victories. They are on the march as we head towards September with 3 to play.
And maybe an omen in the final margin here. So as you said, Clinchy, as they celebrated their 70 years since their 1954 premiership, they called themselves Footscray tonight. 15-20-110 to 9-5-59. The 1954 grand final score against the Demons, 15-12-102. to 79-51. A margin of 51 points.
There you go for
Lingy,
Doggies
when
fans.
as a player did you ever believe in...
Oh, well, no, you didn't. But when someone points it out to you, you kind of think, oh.
Doggies fans go, maybe this is an omen.
Maybe. You never know. It was a pretty impressive performance, though, wasn't it? I feel like 51 points flatters Melbourne. I love the fact that it's ended up that margin because of the 1954 grand final, but it feels like it should have been 151 points tonight. It was a demolition. What's the scoring shots? 35-14.
Yeah, that's smash.
I mean, this could be well and truly triple figures. Disappointing by Melbourne. They were really poor, and the Bulldogs were superb. It's fair to say they are the form team of the competition.
Well, Bulldogs and Brisbane Lions grand
Brisbane
final.
Lions, sorry, that's probably the other one. And Hawks, yep.
They're the three.
Are they a top four side, the Bulldogs, at the moment?
Well, they are. Factually, they actually are tonight.
They're there tonight, but if the other sides win over the weekend, Carlton...
But when you consider that before last weekend, so last Friday, they were out of the 8, hadn't been in there since round 6.
I think they were 10th at that stage.
Beat Sydney, finish 8th last round, and now they're sitting 4th tonight.
And obliterated Sydney.
Yeah.
And did the same to Geelong in Geelong. Their form has been just outstanding. On form, a month's worth of form, they are a top 4 team, Clinchy. As I said, there's a bit to go to sustain that, but they've been incredibly impressive. This is awkward, by the way, just out of the ground.
So
Melbourne are lining
guard of
up.
honour while Adam Treloar is doing a television interview. His young daughter has been brought out and his wife is standing by. But, Melbourne, it's been a disappointing night. They're trying to do the right thing, but they're desperate to get off.
And the Dogs are going to go and give footies out to the crowd and do everything like that. They're not going off for a bit. I don't think Melbourne should have to stand there. You've done the right thing.
Surely they don't have to.
No. Someone needs to go over and say, hey, don't hang there.
Oh, go in.
And I wouldn't. If I was captain of a losing team, I'd go give him a big shake, give him a big hug, and then say, hey, we're out of here.
So I think the Bulldogs have realised they're trying to run the footies out, and a few of their players are starting to.
But some of their players are all the way over the other side, the City side, and Max is standing there. He's making his teammates stand there, isn't he?
Yep. Tim English hasn't realised he's gone all the way to the far side on the City wing, but I think there's a bit more urgency now with a few of the Bulldogs players realising Melbourne are trying to do the right thing. They're standing there waiting for a guard of honour. They've lost by 51 points, but they want to do the right thing by Adam Treloar.
By the way, you shouldn't have to be doing a guard of honour for 250 games either.
That was my next question to you.
300, 350, 400, absolutely.
So 300 is the benchmark.
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah, I agree.
There's too many. It's a great performance.
Great effort, and well done, Adam Treloar.
You don't need the opposition doing that for you.
Now they hoist him up on their shoulders, so Norton one side and Ugelhagen the other. He's got a little red Sharon in his hands. He's blowing kisses to the crowd, and Kim Ravallion, his partner, and his little girl Georgie watching on. So great scenes, and well done Max Gawn, but that really was awkward, and it felt like it wasn't necessary for the Demons to stay out there.
He's just run over to Max Gawn. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, acknowledged. Very nice gesture.
But you don't
have to do it.
But I think it's now almost like it's a bit the wokeisms come in. You've got to virtually, if you play 50 games, you get acknowledged, 100 games, but it's almost like it's just reducing all the time. So
with the old coach in you, if you were Simon Goodwin, just walk over and go, righto, boys, off we go.
Oh, well, no, I think you've got to set an example by going, hang on, let the industry get together and go, really, we're not being disrespectful, but we're going to respect you at 300, not 250. So it's got to be an industry thing. You can't have some clubs do it, not others.
To be fair, Simon Goodwin isn't there. He's probably made his way to the change rooms. The Bulldogs win us by 51 points as Tim Hodges has made his way to their rooms.
Matty, it's a home Friday night game for Footscray, and it feels like everyone from Footscray has found their way into these rooms. The joint is absolutely chockers. So the players are going to belt this out, and boy, the fans will as well. They're going to love every moment, and here we go.
Sons of the West, woo, red, white and blue, woo, we'll come out smiling. Bulldogs do and do, we'll sing. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give our very best. Just now be the boys of the Bulldog group and
Well, I said they were going to belt it out, then little Georgie Treloar got right in the middle of it, and they sang very slowly at the start. We'll have Ed Richards for you in a moment or so, guys, before we head over to Perth, hopefully.
Thank you, Hodgie. So a couple of minutes for those listeners who are heading to Canberra and Sydney News Radio, back to the network, our regional listeners, and some are heading to the Olympics. So who's got the votes for the ABC Football of the Year? Are you willing to fire them off?
I can do that right now if you like.
Had the three.
Yep, it's an easy one tonight. Bailey Dale gets the 1 vote. Adam Treloar, superb in his 250th, 30 disposals, 2 goals. Great spread, great work, great. He's in outstanding form. And very, very simple for me. While the game was there to be won, the first 3 quarters, Marcus Bontempelli was unbelievable. He was a level above everyone else on the field. 33 disposals, 2 goals. Everything he did was just highly impactful. Yep, we've all said it. We've all admitted it. We want him to win the Brownlow this year. Let's hope the umpires see it the same way as me and give him 3 votes for tonight.
3 to Marcus Bontempelli, 2 to Adam Treloar, 1 to Bailey Dale from Cameron Ling and the ABC Footballer of the Year. Footscray winners by 51 points, 15-20, 110 to Melbourne at 9-5-59. They led by 18 points at quarter time, by 38 points at 3/4 time, before eventually running out 51-point winners. We've got some listeners who are just about to depart, and in just a second's time we'll take you down to the Western Bulldogs room. So for those listeners through regional Australia and via some of the capital cities heading to the Paris Olympics, and those on Canberra and Sydney News Radio, we bid you farewell from Docklands. The Bulldogs big winners by 51 points, their 12th win of the season. And for everyone else, we continue on. We can take you straight back down to the Footscray rooms with Tim Hodges.
Clinchy, Ed Richards has been good enough to come straight over to us. We appreciate your time. Can I ask you about Adam Treloar first? I know he's meant a hell of a lot to you and your move into the midfield. What does he mean to the playing group for game 250?
Yeah, he's obviously an amazing human to start with, which, I mean, he's just someone you love to come in and, spend time with at the football club every day, which is a credit to him, really, that he can be, so energetic and positive after, so many years in the system. And then, obviously, his football has really been speaking for itself this year. He's been unbelievable for us. Just elite in all categories, and just his work rate is just something that I marvel at, something that I'm trying to sort of replicate in my own game. And he's obviously been great, teaching me little tricks and, little tricks of the trade where I can keep my energy and help provide like he does.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, the impact and influence on you and your football, especially as you've pushed into the midfield more and more. Like, he's been almost a hands-on, not a coach, but sort of mentor.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, he is sort of like a coach. I mean, being so experienced, 250 games, it's a lot of games. So he's got a lot of experience, and he's able to impart some of his wisdom on me for sure.
Tonight's performance was a masterclass by your Bulldogs. You are looking better and better and better each week, aren't you?
Yeah, we really are. We're really, coming good at the right time. I feel like we're getting a lot of shots up, that's for sure. We're just, myself included, just got to convert a bit better, which would be great. Obviously, we probably left a few out there tonight, but still come away, 50-point winners is obviously great and a great step in the right direction. Definitely our last month has been really good, really something that we want to continue going into the last 3 games.
They're exciting times. I'll send you upstairs. Ed's got the cans on. We've got Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Ed, congratulations again on the game and the win. A fantastic performance. You mentioned that last month. A month ago, you get comfortably beaten by Port Adelaide. What's changed? Because your form right now is outstanding. What's been the big shift, do you think?
I guess sometimes it takes a loss like that to sort of, open your eyes about what weren't doing too well at the first half of the year. So we weren't defending the ground well enough. We weren't helping each other out. Just with going inside 50, and we weren't getting easy shots. So those were something that we wanted to work on. Definitely that defending of the ground part, and then we think that offense would take care of itself, which it definitely did tonight. Sorry. We just have that loss in the back of our minds now, but it's something that we really wanted to work on coming into a really tough stretch of games for us, we thought.
I'll serve this one up on a nice silver platter for you and just let you go with him. Marcus Bontempelli, your captain, he was just unbelievable again tonight, particularly when the game was still there on the line. I mean, what do you see from him behind closed doors? What do you see from him at training? What do you see? What makes him as incredible as what he is?
He's just so driven. I mean, every aspect of his footballing life is about driving and is about getting better. So he's obviously probably the best player in the comp, and he's obviously trying to get better every single day. So that's something that we have, taken on as a group. And then obviously tonight he was so influential in that first half, and then he was getting tagged, and then he went forward. He kicked a couple of goals. I mean, it's just something that not many players can do. And he was, obviously he was amazing tonight, and he's someone to marvel. He's always great to watch. I mean, you just sort of find yourself ball watching a little bit when he's got it, but I mean, it's got the best seat in the house, really.
Ed, just looking at the way you play, it just seems to me that you going into the middle has changed the dynamics of the midfield. Is there set roles now? Because you being in there means that Liberatore now can play a little bit more, not worry about having to spread, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but Treloar's game's picked up because of your game being able to run the football, and Marcus Bontempelli's also, we know he's been a good player over a number of years, but it's sort of almost defined each one of you guys that runs through the middle. Would that be fair to say, or was it just higgledy-piggledy?
I don't know what higgledy-piggledy means, but
all over the shop.
Yeah, no, it's something that I would like to bring. I mean, that work rate that I know I've brought for playing half-back for a few years now is something that they wanted to bring in. Obviously, my run and dash to sort of help out. I mean, Libba's obviously great in and under player, so he can get it out to me, which is nice, and hopefully find me in a little bit of space, which definitely helps our transition, helps our spread when we can get out and explode from stoppages and contests.
The games you've played this year through the middle, what's the side that's worried you guys the most? And I'm talking about you collectively as a midfield.
Probably, I mean, the Blues were pretty good. Obviously, they got Paddy Cripps, who's obviously a top player in the league. Sammy Walsh as well. So those blokes are obviously very, very good. So they're some players who we've got to come up against maybe in the final series. So we'll be looking at them for sure.
Okay, so let's take that one step further. Does that mean that you just play the same type of game you've got going at the moment, or do you have to settle in on the better midfielders? Because tonight you simply destroyed Melbourne, and they're not when you've got Oliver and Viney and these sort of players going through, so they're no mugs. But if you did play Carlton, do you get assigned to someone, or is it just a matter of then taking them on?
I think it's just going. I mean, head to head as midfields, we can't really go into our shell and sort of worry about them too much. What we're doing is we feel is pretty powerful, so we're going to just take it head on and see what happens.
Right. Well done anyway, mate. It's been terrific to see your development.
And Ed, Mick won't say this, but we sit with him in the commentary box every Friday night, and I reckon if I had to say who his favourite player for 2024 is, it would be you. So,
thanks, mate.
Why are you looking at me weirdly?
No, I'm not. No,
would that be true?
I reckon he's made I know he's on air right now, but I reckon he's made a massive difference to an already good midfield. But it's changed the dynamics, and the dynamics change has resulted in smashing the better sides of the competition.
I just thought Ed would like to hear that. Because
thanks, Kel, you've done very well. It saves me saying it.
Yeah, that's right.
As we let you go, Ed, and we're complimenting you, do you know what the 1954 side won by back in the day?
Was it 51 points?
Exactly the same scoreline as what you had tonight. So we're wondering, are you an omen kind of guy?
I'm not at all, but that's a cool little fun fact, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as we let you go, just give us a final word on Adam Treloar, what he's like to play alongside, and the training and the work ethic he puts in.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it before, but he's obviously one guy that's you just love to have around your football club. His work ethic is, second to none, and really love playing with him. He's, fantastic person and fantastic player as well.
Good on you, Ed. Congratulations on the win tonight. We'll see you next week against the Adelaide Crows.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Ed Richards joining us from the victorious Footscray Rooms, winners by 51 points. 15-20, 110 to Melbourne at 9-5, 59. We'll head to Perth very shortly. So maybe just give us your thoughts on the Demons and probably the end of their season and their push for finals.
Yeah, really disappointing performance. I think we were both pretty pretty hard on them in that first quarter in particular, how easy their midfield was to play against. Repeat entries. What was it, 15-2 inside 50s at one stage to start the game. And it was living there, and it was based around the contest, and it was based around work rate, both of which were non-existent for the Demons. It was...
Are they gone, Lee?
Are they gone?
You'd have to say on that performance...
They're certainly gone from any chance of doing anything deep into September.
So they've got Port at the MCG. Port Adelaide will be playing for a spot in the 8, obviously. That's next week.
They're now 2 games outside the 8.
Yeah, then
so may not
Suns.
play either. May not.
That's true.
May not play.
Yeah, no, they're done.
Suns at Carrara. So the Suns have lost 1 game there, and that was against the Lions. And then Collingwood at the MCG in the final round, which... I don't want to skip ahead, but are we looking like a still side-bottom kind of farewell match if they're not going to play finals? Or they'll be playing for finals maybe, so...
Well, I don't think you're far off there. I reckon by Scott Pendlebury saying he will play...
Yes.
I think one...
I agree.
Possibly won't play.
One,
I'm not sure.
4,
It'll be a force out, though.
If they could lose their final 6 games of the season.
Melbourne? Yeah, well, and the way they're playing, that wouldn't be a surprise because, I mean, Petrarca's out.
Yep.
He's one player.
Yeah, that's right.
A great player, yes.
Lots of other teams cope with the fact they haven't got their best player for a period of time.
Absolutely.
Gawn's doing everything he can. He is battling away so hard, but he is so sore. He would have, as I said, he would have preferred to have taken an extra 2 weeks with that injury. May now might have cracked ribs. He's gone to hospital, as Hodgie told us before, to get checked out, and hopefully he's okay, but he might be out for a couple of weeks. They've got nothing else that can really go.
And in the last 3 weeks, they've lost to the Dockers by 50 and the Dogs by 51.
Yeah, it could have been anything today.
And last week flattered them. They go down by 2 points. But I know it got
last
close and got thrilling, but they weren't good all night.
So Christian Salem's one who's probably out for the rest of the season. Charlie Spargo's missed the majority of the year, but apart from that, the question will be around Melbourne's list management. Is that do they feel like they have enough, given they're playing a lot of young kids?
And their coach, I would think maybe as well.
Yeah, no, they were, especially that first quarter. They were awful tonight in that first quarter.
Yeah, there was no urgency.
No.
And that's the first thing you see. You may get beaten in the air, you may get beaten on the run. It's the urgency to make a contest. I think you said at one stage the contested football was just... In fact, we're so surprised, one, that they couldn't get the football, but two, is that they couldn't contest the football.
No,
if Adelaide came to you and offered you 2 first-round draft picks, now you can trade 2 years in advance, so potentially a future draft pick for this year and next year for Clayton Oliver.
He's not worth 2 first-round picks. Not today. Not the way
see, I'm a little bit in the camp. Just hold that question for a sec. I'm a little bit in the camp that you give him another great pre-season and he actually can prepare the way he needs to prepare. He can get back to his best football.
I agree.
He's too good a football, too big a, powerful, just quality footballer to just drop away from now, provided his attitude is where it needs to be. So, no, I think you can't, again, provided his mind's there and he wants to commit to everything, you can't let that sort of quality go, I don't believe, Clint.
Not at that age.
No. There's other moves you need to make, and they need to cut a couple of the stalwart-type players and bring some young quality in and take a little step back in order to hopefully take a big step forward at some stage.
And then the flip side for the Dogs, I know we've spoken a lot about them, but how's the last month? So they beat the Blues by 14. They smashed Geelong by 47. They smashed Sydney by 39, and they demolished Melbourne by 51.
Yep.
And then they've got Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, which they might give up that one if the Crows are on. Who knows? Although the Hawks pummeled them by 10 goals last week.
If the Dogs play the way they've been playing, Adelaide play a very open, fancy style of footy, which can be dangerous when you let them play like that. But if you take that away from them,
so they've got the Crows, North, and the Giants at Ballarat.
Well, they should win them all.
They should.
Yeah.
So the D's could lose the last 3, and the Dogs should win the last 3.
Well, that'd put the Dogs into...
top 4?
Yep.
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers.
Yep.
It's 14 wins, would it be? 15 wins, would it?
That'd be 15.
15. Well, 15... Yeah, 15's... You're going to be very stiff to miss out in the top 4.
Yep.
But this... You know how we said, it's going to go to the death... I'm looking at the Friday night game. I know you were asking about the Friday night game. That eliminates Melbourne. That was going to be a Collingwood-Melbourne game. I can't see that possibly being the main game of the round. They could be playing Sunday for the see-you-later sides. Like Collingwood don't win tomorrow, then Collingwood and Melbourne game will be insignificant by round 24.
And I know this doesn't always come into calculations because it's where they sit on the ladder, but Melbourne's style of football doesn't belong on big stages at the moment either.
Well, it doesn't. If you win games, who cares what it looks like?
No, I know that. I get that, Mick. But also when you're not winning games or you're not even you just play this awful.
Drop that with 90 seconds to go. We might have to discuss that tomorrow, Mick, on AFL Saturday.
Could Ballarat host a Friday night footy game? The best game of the round in round 24 is the Dogs and the Giants playing for fourth,
and
maybe.
Don't even knock Ballarat. It's so beautiful place. Could you imagine how nice and cold it would be?
That's Friday night.
I've got through it all except the last minute, and I'm gone.
The one final answer you can give me is a Boomers score if you can find it against Greece.
Oh, hang on. How am I going to find it?
And we're heading to the west as the West Coast Eagles are trailing the Gold Coast Suns by 10 points. The Suns 9-7-61 to the West Coast Eagles 8-3-51. Mick, we'll chat to you tomorrow. We'll put everything Scott Penn will be to you tomorrow, including whether you'll be at the MCG for Collingwood and Carlton. So see you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Lingy, chat to you for AFL Sunday on Sunday as we try and wrap up everything that's taken place.
We will talk Sunday. I will try and cook up Lingy's last word for you, Clinchy. Make sure I've got something good to head into Sunday afternoon footy.
Beautiful. Thanks to Hodgie. Thanks to Stu Hollywood Baker, to Craig Davis at the back at base at the ABC.
Greece is leading 39-26 in the second quarter, and Dyson Daniels is injured.
That's no good. All right. Thank you very much to everyone. Thanks to Kel. Let's now take you to our team in Western Australia as we join Mitch Turner and Akash Fodadar as round 21 of the AFL continues with Shane Woden and Sharad William.
Welcome in, listeners from Victoria and the AFL stream from the Dogs v Melbourne here to Perth Stadium. The Suns v the Eagles. The Eagles have just cut the margin back to 4 points. The Suns 9-7-61. Lead the Eagles 9-3-57, 17 minutes gone in the third. The Eagles this time breakaway from the middle through Yo, kicks it towards Darling, can't take the mark. Ball goes out of bounds off hands. If you're just joining us, it was the Suns by 7 points at quarter time, by 17 points at half time. They now lead by just 4 points. McAndrew has 3 for Gold Coast. Dewar and Allen have 2 each for the Eagles. Ball spun back in off the ruck contest. Yo gathered. Snapped towards the top of the goal square. Ballard did well to gather. Got around an opponent or two. Kicked it out towards the wing. Johnston sits under it and Lukosius punches it out of bounds for the Suns. It was the Suns that kicked the first goal of the night through McAndrew. The Eagles are the next two. And the Suns have been ahead since the 23-minute mark of the first term. They still continue to lead now as the ball's spun back in. Rao breaks out of traffic as he's done so often this season. On the left boot, kicks it up the wing. Witherden got away from this man, spilt the mark though. Johnston went in for Gold Coast, couldn't take it. Hunt onto it for West Coast. Handball's out in front of the youngster Harvey Johnston. Was able to gather. Now finds Williams. This is Jack Williams. He's 55 from home. Kicks to Waterman. Hands out like vices. Typical grab, takes it, and will go back for a chance at his second. Mitch Turner here in commentary. Akash Fodadar alongside me, our experts, Chris Waterman and Sharad Wellingham.
It's not just Witts going off, it's the effect that Jack Williams has just had as the ruckman on the ball.
He's competing, isn't he?
He's coming on in leaps and bounds, Jack.
So Jake Waterman makes his approach. Normally very good from the set shot. He likes this one. Turns to his teammates. It wasn't a great kick.
Ugly. That was ugly.
It was a floater, but he turns to his teammates and says, well, if it goes straight and it goes through the big sticks, that's a goal. That's 2 for Jake Waterman. The Eagles are in front, 10-3-63. The Suns 9-7-61. Is that how you taught him to kick, Chris?
I don't think so.
That was a mother kick.
that was not a pretty kick. We're going to get a replay of that potentially because I need to see what way this was.
His reaction was great.
That's off the shin, sideways.
It's nearly spun 90 degrees, hasn't it?
Didn't he look like a kid that had just done something wrong and he turned to the guys and said,
that one to go through. Coaching tool. Doesn't matter how they go in, there's still 6 points.
Exactly.
Waterman with his second.
Eagles leading goal kicker this season, and West Coast have the last 4 of the game and have taken the lead by 2 points. No winner from the ball up, so the umpire will toss it up again. Williams and Witts. They burrow in after it, and the umpire's going to have to sort it out one more time. So Jake Waterman up to 46 goals this season. Neither ruck can take it out of the contest, but Jack Williams on the bounce. Tumbles it inside forward 50. Waterman nudged off it by Ballard. He did well, the Suns defender. Sweeps the handball to Flanders. Back to Sexton. Forward now to Graham. Graham along the northern wing. Takes one bounce. Takes another. Dewar chases. Another bounce of Graham. That's 3. Kicks the Suns to a dangerous spot inside 50. Holman is up. Fiorini flew in. Ball now at ground level. The Eagles can't clear. Comes out to Swallow. Into a dangerous spot again. Lloyd Johnson in good position. Harvey Johnson nudges him out. At the